Episode of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about MindsEye studio executives depart just weeks, days before the game comes out. We're going to talk about this Russian fishing sim, bizarrely popular on Steam, but players hate monetization, but yet there's $2,000 worth of microtransactions in this game. We're going to talk about Call of Duty. Call of Duty had ads in their screen, in their login screen, whatever, and then they removed them, and now they're saying it was a mistake. Sure, we'll talk about that as well, and then we have a couple other stories. Nade Shot says that Call of Duty has never been worse, and slams the cheating situation as well. This and many other stories as we go. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do appreciate you. What's going on, chat? What's going on, Jason? What's going on, Stealth? Travis? Sarge? Roic? Good morning. Who am I missing? Eclipse. Did I say Eclipse? Feel good, man. What's going on? Urana? Are you still friends with Recoffee? You mean Reforge? Is that who you're talking about? I butcher people's names all the time. Robert Jones, good morning. All right, so let's start off with the MindsEye conversation here. We've been talking about 2 weeks ago. Well, about 2 months ago, it was brought to our attention that MindsEye was a video game. We looked at it and we went, oh, look, it looks like Saints Row. It looks like Grand Theft Auto. Since that time, Grand Theft Auto has delayed. This game is still coming out on June 10th. We've watched other videos and then found out that MindsEye was a game called Everywhere, and Everywhere is still a thing, but Everywhere is now the back end, not the forefront of MindsEye. I think it was about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I started talking about how MindsEye, I don't think is a video game. I think it was a sampling inside of Everywhere. Even the advertisement of Everywhere shows MindsEye inside of Everywhere. And if you guys don't know what Everywhere is the actual game. It's a game basically where you can make your own content, right? And that's what they want you to do. So my speculation was that they took Everywhere, because Everywhere was supposed to be an NFT thing. And we saw this in 2022. That's when NFTs were like super big and whatnot, right? 2021, 2022. They were trying to push this as an NFT type of thing. And then all of a sudden they did a swap, right? They decided that, meaning that this game, MindsEye, has not been worked on for longer than, I want to say, maybe a year, okay? This is a game with inside the system that they created, and they're going to add stuff later. So it's not really a full, complete game. They tell you it's 15 to 20 hours. It might be. I haven't seen any reviews yet. Haven't anybody. I'm sure that'll come out soon. But I don't think this is a game. I think everyone should stay away from it. And this is just one more data point before the game comes out. It's kind of strange. These are not developers that are leaving, but at the same time, MindsEye studio executives depart build a Rocket Boy 1 week before game's debut. Okay? Now, obviously, it's the chief legal officer and the chief financial officer have left. They're not the heads of the studio, but they are the chief legal officer and the chief financial officer, which I do find a little alarming because the game, they've been working at the company for the longest time, I think 2 years, okay? And right before the game launches, they left. So let's read this and see what happened. Okay, the chief legal officer and the chief financial officer and MindsEye developer Build a Rocket Boy have left the company a week before the game's release. Writing on LinkedIn, former CLO Riley Grabner, butchered it, high five, said that he's proud of what the team has accomplished during this time, and they're stating that during the tenure at the company had doubled in size to over 450 employees. There's 450 employees working on this game? Dear Lord. In addition, Build a Rocket Boy CFO, Paul Bland, has also left the company after 2 years. Okay. Over the MindsEye Discord, many expressed concern that the two key members of the Build a Rocket Boy team are leaving so close to the game's release. As a reminder, MindsEye is launching on June 10th. across PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, S, and PC. It says, quote, "It could be a sign of very troubling internal affairs, or they don't want to deal with the potential legal issues and MindsEye comes out broken," one member has speculated. Now, that wasn't me, by the way, but I do find it very odd that the legal officer has left before this game came out, meaning he knows something that we don't and said, you know what? I'm going to look for a better job because I don't want to deal with the tsunami of problems that's about to happen 5 days from now. Okay? I don't know. Just my speculation, along with this person's speculation from the Discord. Okay? It says, quote, "Trying to keep an open mind, but that's sus indeed." Another wrote, "People don't bail right before they think the releasing is a hit, usually. If you were a CFO of Rockstar a week out of GTA 6 launch, would you resign?" Would you resign right before a game launches? You see what I'm saying? If you believe in the game, if you believe in the company making the game, then you would stay there and go, hey, game's launched. I'm so excited. But if you all of a sudden go, I'm putting I'm out, put my 2 weeks in before the game comes out, that's sus. It's sus. Okay? Eurogamer has contacted Bill the Rocket Boy for further comments about the two departures. Okay? Departures from Bill the Rocket Boy come days after the studio's co-CEO, Mark, suggested that negative reactions of MindsEye so far have been paid for in a effort to put negative info on this. And he came out and said, the CEO came out and said that Rockstar, not in name, he said, but it's real easy to figure it out. All right. He came out and said that the Rockstar was paying for ads to get negative reviews and negative thoughts out there about their game. 100% could be possible. Okay. But then in another article, he said he never said that, even though the other article quotes him in saying that. In an exchange of MindsEye Discord server, he was asked if he believes all the people who reacted negative were financed by someone, to which he replied 100%. So one of the guys that left, oh, no, I'm sorry, that was the CEO, right? That's the CEO. Okay, he said, yeah, 100%, they're being funded. So look, this is just yet another data point that looks very, very odd, that you would have the legal guy and the chief financial officer both leave 5 days, 6 days before the actual game launches. But hey, I could be wrong, and this could be a mega hit. I doubt it. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think? Do you think MindsEye is coming out and it's going to be fantastic? Do you think it's going to be worth the money? And do you think it's kind of funny or odd or strange that the chief financial officer and the chief legal officer have left 1 week before this game launches? Let me know your comments in the comment section down below. If you're watching this after the fact, let me know what you guys think in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. What do you think, chat? What do you think's going on with this thing? I don't know. This smells. You know, give it the smell test. This smells funny. What's going on, Haley? Haley, I apologize for yesterday, man. My schedule's just not the same. What I thought was a month ago is not the same today. So I'm going to try to get back on schedule, and we'll try to do it next week on Tuesday to do the Dragon Wilds stream, because I do want to play it. So apologies from me. Feels good, man. Says, actually, I don't think any generation of gamer will play MindsEye. I noticed they use rock a lot in their IP. Guess the name of the city is MindsEye, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't even think they make it $30. I don't even think they make it $30. It's going to go anywhere. Eclipse says, oh, man, I can't wait for this game to come out. I mean, that's the real. Is the game going to actually come out? 450 employees. I didn't think this studio was that big. But I can tell you based on what I believe and what I feel, that studio is going to be losing a lot of employees in the next month. Sarge says, hey, chat, buy a clue. If people leave the company before the release, the game is trash. Yeah, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. What's going on, Dolphin? The fact that he's in the legal department, that doesn't mean that means does he expect there to be a lot of legal action going on? Yeah, he was collecting an easy check, and then he decided, you know what? I'm good. I don't want to be here anymore. Roic says they had a meeting, and there was one of those who can leave and there no judgment. Do you think that's what they did, Roic? They're at the meeting, and they're like, all right, we're launching in 1 week's time. At this moment, if you don't believe in our product that we've worked on, there's no judgment here. You can stand up and leave. And all of a sudden, the chief financial officer and the chief legal officer stand up, and the CEO is like, what the fuck? And they're like, I thought there was no judgment. Oh, no, there's judgment. What's going on, Water Bear? Water Bear says, I think whoever buys this game is definitely will get the shaft. We'll see. I think if the game delivers, a lot of people will eat crow. I will love to eat crow. Okay? I would love to eat crow. I hope this game comes out and it's a beautiful done game, that there's no iffiness about it. It comes out finished. It's not broke, buggy, unoptimized. All the content there is day one at $60. I hope it is, right? See, they don't get a bonus from me because they're paying $60 and everyone else is paying for $80 because they know their game's not even worth the $60, and they definitely know it's not worth the $80. They definitely know they're hiding something because MindsEye was a game within a game, and now it's the full frontal thing. So much so that MindsEye, when everywhere.game was the website, and now when you put everywhere.game in, it goes directly to MindsEye. The marketing department has said nothing of Everywhere. You can go to Everywhere's Twitter account. They don't even talk about MindsEye. Okay? They didn't market this game. 450 employees, and yet this company has not marketed this game at all. So I would love to eat crow. What's going on, Mo? Morning, Wonder Rose. Hilly says, was it among us spawned sus MindsEye is sus? Yeah, it's 100% sus. Big Mo says, what do we expect the state of state of Nay today? I think they have to show Wolverine, right? I'm not looking at leaks or anything like that. I think Krebsy mentioned it yesterday that they are, and Insomniac said they are going to show it. I think Sony has to show Wolverine. If it's done or not, I think they just have to do it, because regardless if you're an Xbox fanboy or a Sony fanboy or vice versa, the public perception of Sony right now is the stock is low, right? They need something to give their hopes a little bit of excitement, okay? And Wolverine would be that beacon in the sky. Everyone like, yeah, here it comes, right? So I think Sony fans would like to see a little bit of Wolverine. But I did say this to Travis last night in Discord. Regardless if Wolverine is shown or not, people are going to give it crap. They just are. If they don't show it, they get shit on. If they do show it, they'll say something about it and shit on it. So it's a lose-lose situation for the internet anyway, right? Hilly says, PC money. Appreciate the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Sarge also came in and said, Hilly's right. PC money, $10 super chat. Appreciate it, Sarge. Water Bear says this game will deliver all right. It's going to deliver something. Are we watching the PlayStation today? It all depends. It all depends. I have a doctor's appointment to bring my kid to today. So if we're back in time, it starts at 5, right? It starts at 5. So I think it goes for what, like an hour and a half. So we should be able to cover it tonight. Rourke says it releases and then beats Concord's record and shuts down after 9 days. Oh, you're not even getting him to the 11th day. Concord shut at 12, right? So that you can give him an extra couple days, Rowick. I don't think it shuts down. But I do think that it's sus, and I do think something's going to happen. It's not going to be very successful. Jack says, are we talking about MindsEye? Boy, oh boy, things are not looking good for this game or studio. Yeah, it's not. Like if you're baking a cake, Jax, and something feels off, and if you put that cake in the oven, and you're like, why isn't that cake rising? Something's wrong. Something's wrong with MindsEye, man. Something is wrong with MindsEye. Dolphin says, if they do show it, they get shit on less. Yeah, it's been years. Right, they do get less shit, but they still get shit on. Sorry, if you see me looking over to the left, it's because my son pops in and asks a question. Summertime. World says if they want people to go crazy, all they have to do is show Bloodborne. Do you think they do a Bloodborne remake? Worlds? Or announce it? Does your son get bionics today? No, it's an eye doctor's appointment. Has nothing to do with his back. PlayStation 5 blows says MindsEye lame. PS5, I saw you. Where did I see you? I happened to be watching a video and someone said PS5 blows. And I was like, is that PS5 blows that comes into my channel? I forget where it was. Cisco says, someone say cake? I like the fact, Cisco, that you barely ever speak, if at all, and someone said cake, and you're like, I got to comment. Bo says, I don't think Wolverine is ready yet because of the breach. It might not be ready, but they got to show something. Mo. I don't think they have to show a date. They just got to show actual gameplay. Not leaked gameplay, actual gameplay. Waterbear says, if they shows and looks badass, though, the shit will smell like roses. Yeah. Yep. MindsEye is likely like my wife's cooking. It might be fine, but chances are it's not. Oh, Jesus. You blew it! Your wife wasn't in the room when I read that comment, was it? Halo Infinite FTP is shadow drop today on PlayStation. Are you saying it is, or are you saying like it's going to be? Like you're saying they're gonna announce at the PlayStation Showcase is what you're saying. Hilly says she would agree. All right, well, I love my wife's cooking. I would say that she's not here right now, and I would still say it, which I did. Yeah. She actually jokes and says, if it wasn't for cooking, would you be with me? I was like, yes. Just less likely of a chance. I was unaware there were 2 Black Panther games. Yeah. Yeah, there's Black Panther game that was a solo, and then there's the Black Panther game with Captain America, which is Hydra 1943. Yeah, there's 2 Black Panther games. There's not 2 solo Black Panther games. There's a Black Panther Captain America game, and then there was a Black Panther game. Roadkill says, what's up, Roadkill? I'm changing my name to Xbox Blows. Just wait, give me a day. But how would we know it's you? How would we know it's you? Roadkill says, hit the button, you lazy bastards. Big Mo says, that's what I'm saying. They got to do new source code. Yeah, but that was, 2 years ago? 2 years ago? New source code. That thing is out then another 3-4 years. I don't think that's happening, Mo. Roadkill, I agree. I said this when we first saw it and they showed us the tech demo. They said it was going to be a shorter game. Okay, it was the Unreal conference last year that we watched about 1943. This year they showed Witcher 4. Last year they showed Hydra, right? 1943. I said, I think this is not a shot at Hellblade, right? When Hellblade came out originally, not the first Hellblade, okay, that was a tech demo of what they could do with that engine at that time, right? I believe that even though they showed a tech demo, I believe it's to show the capability of it, and that's why they're releasing it. This is like when you get a new console in the new generation, like Rome, that came out for Xbox. Was it the Xbox? Was it the Xbox One? It was the Xbox One, right? When that was like a tech to show you what they could do, with the technology and whatnot. That's what I believe it is, right? This is not, Rise of Rome. That's it, right? That's what I believe Hydra is, right? I think it'll be a good game. Hellblade was a great game, right? They did a lot of cool stuff with it. I believe that's what Hydra 43 is with the technology of Unreal. Kelly says, my wife has asked me to read statement. My wife's cooking is amazing, and I'm truly blessed to be able to enjoy such a succulent food and formally apologize for any previous comments regarding this. See, that's more like it, Kelly. Sarge says, I'm going to stop typing until 10:30 Eastern. Someone get your ass to number 1, you lazy bastards. What's going on, Kyla? Robert Jones says, every time we talk about Black Panther, thought we were talking about Hydra. No. We're talking about the single-player EA game, right? EA game that was Black Panther. Oh, here's another thing. A lot of people think that they canceled or delayed the handheld for Xbox. That's their standalone handheld that was coming out in 2027. The handheld that's coming out with Asus is still coming out this year. They're teaming up with Xbox. A lot of people think they're just canceling the Xbox handheld. No, they're still in talks or still developing that one that's supposed to come out later this year with Asus, the collaboration one. But the standalone handheld device that they were talking about that's supposed to come out in like 2027 as a next-gen console, whatever, that got delayed. Because I saw some people talking about it on Twitter and stuff, and I was like, no. I was like, those are two separate handhelds. One is Asus teaming up with Xbox, and one is Xbox making their own handheld. It just reminded me when you got the Black Panthers confused. Waterbear says Rise of Rome was great, just short. Right, but that's what I'm saying. I think Hydra's going to be short. I think it's going to be great, but I think it's a tech, right? It's to show what the technology can do with the game. Exactly. The Order 1886, the wildest tech demo game. That's exactly right. It's like that game, see what you could do with it, but it wasn't a major hit. It was just to show what people can do, and people were like, oh, damn, that's awesome. Let's see. The ponies have no idea what you're talking about. They're confused and bewildered. Dolphin says, GameStop won't let me trade in ROG Ally, and they're too retarded to make sure it works. I mean, I don't have the 41% emote here, Dolphin, but that would be a good spot for it. We do have a 41% emote in our Discord. All right, going from MindsEye to the next one, which is a fishing game. Okay, a fishing game. And for some reason, now there's fishing, I believe, in No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky had an update also today, right? There's fishing in Fallout 76 now, and there's a standalone fishing game, which, there's fishing games, okay? The Russians, all right, the Russian fishing sim is bizarrely popular on Steam, but players hate the monetization. And to be fair, it has $2,000 $2,000 microtransaction, okay? Is that 2,000 microtransactions or $2,000 microtransaction? Okay. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday. We just talk about gaming news, stories, entertainment news, give you my thoughts and opinions. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. All the stories are submitted by you guys, okay? In our Discord, you go to our Discord. Anyone can join our Discord. You can submit stories with inside. You can talk in our general chat. And you can talk and submit stories in our submitted stories section for GXG or for this show, okay? And you don't have to be a member or anything of the channel. If you are a member of the channel, you get more rooms that open up for you in Discord. And once you're a member, you're always allowed in our Discord. So, all right. So it says you purchase through links of your site and you also be affiliated. Okay. All right. So I hadn't heard of this Russian Fishing 4 until PCG's Wes, noticed that the weirdly popular on Steam. The game has been available since 2018, launching on Steam in November of 2021. And since it's steadily built a considerable audience over time, per SteamDB's 3-year charts, it was pulling in around 7,000 concurrent players after launch, and 3 years later averages just over 20,000 concurrent players every day. Let's just pause there for a second. Dragon Age, the Veilguard, couldn't pull those numbers. Concord couldn't pull these numbers. Shadows couldn't pull these numbers, okay? But yet a fishing game, okay, is pulling in more concurrent players than majority of these AAA titles, okay? They're currently, as of, what day is this? This is from 20 hours ago, okay? There are currently 21,500 people playing Russian Fishing 4. And 9 days ago, it hit its all-time peak of 25,352 players. Okay. It says, bear in mind, though, it's also available directly from the developer, so Steam's only portion of the player base. And where we're talking about one very popular fishing game. Okay. The obvious question is why? And one straightforward, the boring answer is that, well, with some very big caveats, Russian Fishing 4 is pretty great fishing simulation. Okay. I downloaded it on Steam. I didn't. The writer did. Okay. And played through the tutorial before going for a spot for proper fishing. And the game was lovely, peaceful, and atmosphere, relatively straightforward mechanics, and for the most part, looks great. Okay. One especially nice touch is that while you're fishing away, other players' catches pop up in real time in the lower left hand of the screen. This does inspire some angling envy, but in the nice distraction while you're watching for a bite. Okay. Well, we know the method of why this happens. Why do I need to see someone else's rewards or loot pop up on the screen? Because you need that, right? You need that. They want you to be like, well, how did he get that? Oh, okay. I have to say that I did only seem to catch carp and roaches, okay? But that may also be because I'm fishing at a low level. And here comes the big caveat. One of the reasons Russian Fishing 4 is in the community is quite interesting is one of those free-to-play games that seriously tries to nickel and dime you, okay? The pace progression, okay, here is how do you say that? Is that monotonously slow, grind, absolutely brutal. You sell the fish and catch, you eventually afford better equipment to catch bigger fish at the level up of a snail's pace, which is annoying because you can't visit a certain spot in the game to fish unless you're a particular level. The actual fishing is fun, and the gameplay loop is built around it, and this is why free-to-play makes so many players groan. I hate this in any game. Doesn't matter if it's a free-to-play game or a game that you put onto a streaming service like a Game Pass or PlayStation Plus if it's developed for this, okay? And what I mean by this is they purposely slow you down to make you spend more time in the game, okay, for two reasons. One is the longer you play the game, the more likely you are to spend money in the microtransaction. Two, let's say it's a game on like a streaming service like a Game Pass or Ubisoft Plus or an EA, right? And you're paying a monthly fee. The longer you're playing the game for, right, the more hours that pass and it takes you longer to complete the game, it's one extra month of the $18 or the $20, right? And that's baked into the game fundamentally, and it changes the mechanics of the actual game, okay? So it says, amongst other things, premium grants 100%, okay? It says, but naturally, help is at hand. Russian Fishing 4 monetizes by premium membership tier, which basically makes the game work properly, Okay. Among other things, Premium grants a 100% bonus to experience with every fish caught, increases the chance of your crafting and fishing skills improving, and unlocks a bunch of other basic functionality that makes the game much more pleasant to play. Okay. Apparently enough, there's a catch. Premium membership is pretty expensive. 3 days of it will set you back $3.50, while in a month is $15. Okay. Make the problem, sell the solution, right? Well, for $3.50, you can get all these better bonuses. But I'll tell you what, that's just for 3 days. We'll give you $15, and we'll give you for the entire month. Okay. I was also amazed by the options kept getting larger and larger. 90 days for $40. Okay, 360 days for $130. What am I paying for a fishing license? An actual fishing license? Right? It says you do you. But then you see the lifetime subscription. And Russian Fishing 4 just straight up asks for $2,000. $2,000. And I wonder if they carry over to Russian Fishing 5. Okay, $2,000. If you pay $2,000 right now, you get a lifetime membership. Get the fuck out of here. Okay?
You just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
If you're paying $2,000 for a fishing game, please, we have to talk. We have to talk. Okay? You want to pay $15 for 30 days? Cool. That's a monthly subscription. But you're going to pay $2,000 for a fishing game? Right? The side of Russian Fishing 4 is why, despite being a good fishing sim, is clearly attracting a lot of would-be anglers, in the Steam reviews sit firmly mixed, and two through lines and nearly the negative ones. They're either about the grind or overbearing monetization, or they're from Chinese players. Okay. He says, I don't know why, but recently Chinese players seem to have a taken against Russian Fishing 4 in a big way. The reason that they also review give a slightly mixed, but it's also a cocktail of being banned or for cheating. Okay. Apparent lack of fish, and that's old favorite greed devs. Okay. Who is to say that when you buy, all right, like, hear me out, right? So when you don't pay for a membership, they give you more fish, right? Because they want to reel you in. So when you don't pay for the membership, you get more fish, but you get smaller XP. But if you pay for membership, you get more XP, but you get less fish. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? It says, quote, today, this day, I don't understand the cheating program. Okay, is or never explained it when consulting the official. He was very arrogant. Okay, it says, if you want to play the game, please keep your computer like a newborn. Do not try to uncommon programs. This is the first time in my gaming career that I have been banned. Thank you for all the... He got banned for fishing? Bro, that's hardcore. Okay, I'll go on your permanent record from Sony, from the credit score thing yesterday that we talked about. Was that yesterday? 2 days ago. Okay, I thought it was interesting at the first, but now I think the game is a complete waste of my time. Okay, he saw the wizard behind the curtain. He saw the wizard behind the curtain. Okay, finally I had to include this review from Russian Comrade because it just made me wonder what on earth happened and why they're playing. It says, after this shit, okay, friends become bastards. Russian Fishing 4 is an odd contemporary phenomenon. There's no doubt it's a good game, and many of the positive reviews reckon it is the best fishing sim on the market, even in the monetization. But the monetization is so poorly implemented from the player's perspective that it does seem to be ultimately turn people off and make resent the game. Is also notably how many negative reviews and have several hundred hours on record. Negative reviews of several hundred hours. Look, you can't help people. If you play a game for hundreds of hours and you're still talking negative about it, just let it go, man. Just let it go. If you play 5 minutes, 5 hours, 10 hours, I'll even give you 20 hours, and you talking negative about it, you'd be like, all right, this is what they have to do to get me come back and play it. But if you're playing hundreds and hundreds of hours, let me tell you, they don't care what you say because they know they have you pardon the phrase, hook, line, and sinker. Okay, not that it's likely to bother the developers too much. Russian Fishing 4 is clearly a big success, and even 7 years after release, it's continued to attract and hold the attention of a huge audience. I probably won't return for it, but more of it get Bass Man, but there's also plenty who do. And hey, monetization bothers you that much? Just check down the side of the couch for spare $2,000. Hey, Randy Pitchford was running this. If you're a real fan, okay, you'll find a way to pay $2,000 for this game. Okay, only if you're a real fan. Okay, Aku, thank you much for the $2 super chat. He says, I have only ever purchased one lifetime sub. Was that for a video game? There's no such thing as a lifetime sub, right? Because that studio could close down. I mean, Destiny could charge a lifetime and they would close down, right? The game's going to stop at some point. They're not going to keep continuing going on. Robert Jones says, boo. Come on, that was good. Hook, line, and sinker. And a fishing story. Come on. That was easy. That was an easy layup. Sarge says, if you don't try to stop you from buying stupid shit, by the time you get to 35, you'll be sucking cock for $20 a pop to buy your meth. We have to try. Yeah, it's crazy. Aku says a sucker pays $2,000 for a lifetime Russian. Yes, we have you. Send plans to front tomorrow. That's just crazy. It's the video game of Star Trek Online is worth every penny. You paid for a lifetime. What was the cost of a lifetime membership for Star Trek Online? Hilly says, I have 168 hours in Valheim. When my boat sank approaching Ashland, on my first attempt, it would be the moment where I gave in and in the bad review. However, this was a skill issue and the learning experience. Didn't cost $2,000. I played Star Trek Online, and I paid it for like 150 hours, and I didn't pay a dime. $300, and I've had it for like 6 or 7 years, maybe more. Well, to be honest, people have paid more for Fortnite. People have paid more for Destiny, for the Eververse store. Hell, people have probably paid more, way more, for Madden. That's not a lifetime. You would think it's lifetime because you paid for microtransactions in 2013 for Ultimate Team, and you're still paying in 2025 for Ultimate Team, right? So those people they're paying a lifetime membership. They just don't know what the end goal is for the lifetime membership. World of Warcraft as well. World of Warcraft, though, is an MMO, right? For games like that, for the servers, I would assume, like, that was the okay part about it, Travis. When you're playing a game and you're on a server and they're constantly updating, maintaining the servers that you're on, you're paying that $15 a month, and if you stop paying it, you're done, right? You bought the game, you can play the game, but on the server, to maintain the server, now you can play up to a certain level for free, but to pay $2,000 for a game that you don't know, like, hindsight's 2020. If they offered you a lifetime pass, here, I'll give 2 examples here. Disney World, when the park first opened, gave lifetime passes. The pass was $100. $100. Back then, when you looked at the pass, you're like, that's a lot of money. I don't know. People bought the $100 passes, lifetime passes. The only way you can have a lifetime pass for Disney World right now is if it's handed down in a will, okay? That's it. You can't just give it to someone as a lifetime pass. It's embedded into the person, right? So it's a lifetime pass. Now you're paying $180 for one day. $100 back then. Now, if we could have sense the future, you could back then and go, well, damn, I'm going to buy a bunch of them, right? But you didn't know. World of Warcraft, when it came out 23 years ago, okay, you didn't know it was going to be around for 23 years. So if they asked you for $2,000 up front, be like lifetime membership. Lifetime could be a month. The lifetime could be 50 years. You don't know. Which one was Valheim? The open world survival, right? Yeah, it was the Viking one, Sarge. I spent loads on Destiny, not microtransactions, just all the DLC, changing over, generation, hardware, etc. Yep. Robert Jones says lifetime sub. Is that a fancy way of saying ownership? Maybe, Jones. Yeah, they're like, you paid for this, you own it. $2,000. Does that mean I can like make copies of it and sell it to other people? Am I a stockholder now? Ray says it's a scam. PC Now should be able to locally make the monster's AI work. Dolphin says I spent over $1,000 on Destiny and a plastic thing that you could put next to you that lights up with little meeples on it. Is that included in the $1,000? Oh, Ray says it's a scam because PC Now should be able to do locally make the monster's AI work. Right, but again, we're talking about the past to present, right? In the past, it was maintaining the servers. That's where that was the justification of why you're paying $15 a month. Right? I think now, if you own Elder Scrolls Online, you don't have to pay a monthly fee for that, right? You don't have to pay a monthly fee for that. If you want a bigger backpack and stuff, you can pay for that. If you want to pay for the DLC, you can pay for that. Same with New World. New World, you pay $40. You don't have to pay a monthly subscription for that. You can continue playing that online game, multiplayer, MMO, and you pay the one price for what the game is. Hilly says, I would never get one. Knowing my luck, I would get a $2,000 lifetime pass and then have a heart attack with all the excitement. Yeah. Like, I just paid for Fishing 4. I paid $2,000. I'm so dead. Excitement of fishing. Gotcha. Dolphin says, I think the 20-year anniversary has something to say about the WoW sucking. Yeah, look, Travis just likes to say stuff, right? Travis likes to say stuff.
There's a guy named Travis, he's always around. In the chat, throwing fake status down. Elden Ring, he says it's overhyped trash. But Mass Effect, now that's his stash. He's a Sony booty, loud and proud. Even when Sony's got him down, they took his games, left him in the cold. But Travis still defends them, oh so bold. Travis, the king of hot takes. Hating what we love, he claims we're all fakes. When Marvel Rivals starts to reveal, he's reporting more than he's trying to heal.
I mean, Travis just says stuff. He just types it. He's fishing. Travis is a fisher. He just puts stuff out there and baits people to see who interacts with him. That's it. He's a man of well-crafted takes that gets people hooked, and then you interact with them. That's it. Congratulations. Travis is playing the game. That's why I believe Travis, he was like the #1 shit talker, right? Wasn't he? Travis, you talked about World of Warcraft for sucking. So Dolphin said, I think the 20 years has something to say about it. So I was giving you a compliment, Travis. I was giving you a compliment. Hilly says, I have a lifetime membership with DayZ. I have the server files. I could play solo forever for free. Must be not that exciting, Hilly, if you're not having a heart attack over your free lifetime membership. That's right, Titan. He would be a master baiter. That's right. I give you 3 points. 3 points for Titan for the master baiter comment. Sarge playing Baldur's Gate 3 tonight. We're playing Baldur's Gate 3 tonight? Can we play Helldivers instead? I gotta reload Baldur's Gate 3 on my computer for one stream. Travis says, boo. Fishing isn't boring in real life and online. I mean, fishing in real life is fine. Fishing in a game, at that moment, it's like playing The Sims and making the character go to the bathroom. I look at that and go, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? All right, let's go to the next story, which is Call of Duty. All right, so Call of Duty, I was actually going to do this story yesterday, but we got caught up. We got caught up with the Unreal Engine thing yesterday, okay, the Unreal Fest yesterday. So I was going to take this story yesterday, which was Call of Duty removes ads from Black Ops 6 Warzone loadout screens, okay? But then someone posted this story where it says that players aren't buying Call of Duty's error excuse for the ads that Activision started. So let's read this one first, which we were going to read, and then we'll talk about the one that updated, okay? If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday. We just talk about news stories, have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I mean, I would be up for triple XP, Kylo, for some Battlefront 2 tonight. I do love me some Battlefront 2, okay? Call of Duty removes ads from Black Ops 6 and Warzone load screens. Okay, Activision claimed that adding the ads to Black Ops 6 and Warzone load screen or loadout screen was a mistake, and a feature has now been removed from both games. Can we just stop this bullshit? Okay, bullshit. Okay, in what way, shape, or form does it accidentally get ads put on the screen? This is a known thing that they were doing. They're like, let's put it out there. It won't be a big deal. And then it's on there, and they're like, oops. It was a mistake. Mistake my ass. Okay? Black Ops 6 Season 4 added a bundle ads in loadout screen. It was visually jarring, okay, for players because they were also met with ads for weapons, blueprints, while trying to edit their loadouts. This was particularly frustrating because community members argue that they shouldn't even have to see ads for a game they had already paid for. That's correct. That's correct. You already paid for it, and they're preemptively putting ads into your game that you paid for. Go fuck yourself. Okay? That wasn't the only issue in Season 4, as Activision also hid players' levels in multiplayer lobbies. Players theorized that the developer did this so the casual player wouldn't be scared away from competing against more experienced users, and the devs offered a reassurance that this was also an error and claimed the same for loadout screen ads. Oh yeah, everything's an ad, just an error. Oh yeah, we forgot, we didn't mean to hide the people's levels. We talked about that last week. Oh, and the ads that are on the screen, and then while you're in your loadout screen, oh, that was also an error. Why would that even be a thought? Why would it even be in the game? Okay, Black Ops removes loadout screen ads. Okay, Activision confirmed that the AI or AUI feature test was surface select store content in loadout menus was published in Season 4 update in error. This feature has now been removed from the live game. Questions arose over the validating of Activision's statement, but you no longer need to worry about the ads cluttering the screens in multiplayer or Warzone. Since this was a test, it's unclear if the devs plan to add it back in at a future date. Okay? So let's go to this story now. Okay, players aren't buying Call of Duty's error excuse for the ads Activision started forcing into the game's menu recently. Call of Duty is wearing its community's goodwill thin in its consistent push for monetization. Okay, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is a $70 premium title annual Call of Duty franchise. The fact is weighing heavily on the game player based after ads for the in-game cosmetics began to appear in the loadout menu following Season 4's update on May 28th. The ads are also removed in the sequential update on June 2nd, which officially is a statement of the Call of Duty update social media accounts dubbing that the ads in the UI feature test was pushed live in error. What the fuck does that mean? It means you're going to be pushing it out again or trying it in a different way. Can we stop with this bullshit where they're like, oh, yeah, well, it was just an error. We didn't really mean it. It was just a test. It was a... Stop. If no one complained, it would be in there right now. They wouldn't say, oh, we're just testing this out. No, they would put it in there, and if people started seeing it, they would have been like, I'm sorry. Oh, it was just a UI. UI glitch. A UI glitch. The AI went rogue and took our information from our servers and took the ads and threw it in the game. It wasn't us. It was AI. Okay? Despite the removal of the ads, have left many players in Call of Duty community upset about Activision's rampant attempts to increase monetization and in disbelief that the ads were simply a UI test that was accidentally pushed live. That wasn't accidentally pushed live. It means you're doing it. It means you're doing this on purpose. You were trying it. You were testing the waters to see if people would push back. They did. And now you're like, oopsie. Whoever pushed this idea in the first place, the whole game is riddled with ads already. One player replied about the UI error. Earlier this year, Activision began to charge for in-game event pass as part of a marketing tie-in with Squid Games 2. Those additional event passes also continue to be part of the monetization of COD, layering on top of the existing costs of seasonal battle passes, Black Cell battle passes upgrades, and the operator weapon blueprint bundles. Isn't that funny how I compared Call of Duty as the adult Fortnite, and they had Squid Games in Call of Duty, and now Fortnite has Squid Games coming to the game as well. Okay. If anyone's buying this for Seth Rogen, shame on you. Shame on you. Players can spend roughly $60 a season just on passes, not including individual operator bundles for character skins and weapon camos. There's also typically 6 seasons and post-launch content for each annual premium Call of Duty title, which is also costs $70 for players who are not subscribed to the Xbox Game Pass. If you also purchase every premium pass in the annual premium title, players would also be shelling out more than $400 to play Call of Duty for the year. Interesting enough, some players who decry introduction of the ads and loadout menu claim that the monetization push of Activision made Call of Duty feel like a free-to-play experience instead of a premium game that is also paid for upfront. Call of Duty's annual $70 title shares a launcher with a free-to-play Battle Royale experience, and Call of Duty Warzone that changes the test in a UI Call of Duty Black Ops 6 were also presented in a free-to-play modes. Advertising cosmetic weapon bundles in a loadout menu actually seems like it could be a marketing mechanic that could have been beneficial for players who enjoy scooping up in-game cosmetics and had been added at a different point in Black Ops 6 lifecycle. I'm sorry, did this person just try to... Did he just try to make it where it was beneficial for them? Is this the same bullshit that you hear on the radio? The more you spend, the more you save. What? The more you spend, the more you save is the stupidest thing I've ever heard when department stores do it and stores do it, okay? Right? The less I spend, the more I save, right? Not the more I spend, the more I save, okay? Let me read this again, just so I understand this correctly. Advertising cosmetic weapon bundles in a loadout menu actually seems like it could be a marketing mechanic, okay, that could have been beneficial for players who enjoy scooping up in-game cosmetics if they had been added at a different point. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. Who's this? Who wrote this? Don't worry, Cole Martin. They will add them again. Don't you worry your pretty face. Okay? Don't you worry your pretty face. A similar feature allowing players to see unpurchased bundles when choosing an operator and when being directed to the store where they can also purchase said bundles has been a part of Call of Duty's marketing for several years with no community pushback. Okay. However, Call of Duty's post-launch support of Black Ops 6 has been an issue since Season 1 when the integration between Black Ops 6 and Warzone went over poorly. Call of Duty's dev team has struggled to get a handle on the rampant cheating, and several stability has been a sore spot after every update. With every single patch has released some sort of gameplay mechanic, beloved playlist, or paid operation skin is disabled because of this issue. Oh, isn't that amazing? Which goes to the next story. Okay, which goes to the next story about cheating. Now, see, video game companies want you to think they care about cheating, but they don't care about the cheating. See, back in the day, there wasn't microtransactions in the game. There was just cheating. And the cheating happened because there was more engagement and people were playing, and they didn't do anything about it. And they said, oh, we're working on it. We're going to fix it. But now, because there's microtransactions, because they're making money, and the less people that play the game, the less opportunities they can shove ads inside your game. So when something happens in cheating now, they're not doing it for you. They're not trying to change the game to fix it for you so you have a better experience of people not cheating. They're trying to fix it for them so you don't have a bad experience to leave the game, because if you leave the game, then they have zero customers to pay for the microtransactions, okay? So Call of Duty has never been worse. Nadeshot slams cheating situation. Matthew Nadeshot, the founder of 100 Thieves, has taken to social media to put Call of Duty on blast. In his words, Call of Duty has never been in a worse situation with the cheaters and the overall integrity of the game. Okay, he stresses that during a recent 8-hour stream, he encountered cheaters all over the place, and it's not the first time. He claimed that the ranked play in Black Ops 6 is screwed, and overreaching ranking system is haphazard. It's not even a good look for Call of Duty. Nadeshot is one of the most influential creators and former pro players in the space, currently leading the most dominant organization in Call of Duty League. He says, quote, I mean, it's bad. In a video uploaded hours ago on social media, Nadeshot tore into Activision and Call of Duty. He says, gentlemen, listen to me. I like how he says gentlemen. He didn't say ladies and gentlemen. He said gentlemen. He knows his viewership. Okay, listen to me. Call of Duty has never been worse. Okay, I do love this game. But oh my God, there was a hacker in almost every lobby, and we played today 8 straight hours. Okay, I know what I'm beating. I know what I'm beating a dead horse here, and I repeat episodes of this at least favorite TV show. We might be idiots, and we're still playing this game, but I'm not kidding. Okay, does this remind you of anything? Right? Does this remind you of anything? That was when they did the Tarkov and the little wiggle, right? And there was a cheater in every lobby. Okay, 8 straight hours of lobbies were hacked on. Gentlemen, we might be fucked, and we really might. I mean, it's bad. Okay, so I don't need to listen to that because we just read it. This is far from being the first time that Nadeshot has made a statement like this about Call of Duty. The game has arguably made him as a professional. In December, he stressed that Activision anti-cheat teams have no integrity, and the holes in the game are getting bigger and each passing day. The cheating situation of Call of Duty has been the game's biggest problem in the last few years, and it doesn't seem to be improving. Are you troubled by cheaters in Call of Duty Warzone? Black Ops 6? Let me know, right? So, look, Call of Duty is like Madden, right? Call of Duty is like Madden. Why pay people to fix these things and change these things when just in a couple months, you're going to be fed another Call of Duty game? Okay? Why would you? Why would you fix it? All right, let me go back up and see what you guys are saying about this. What's going on, Dave? What's going on, Saint? All right, let's see. Scroll back up. Kyle says, I hope COD. I hopped on COD the other day. It's insane. It still drops new guns every season, and they're still overpowered, so people will buy the Battle Pass / gun skin. It was free to play. I understand. Not for $70 game. Hilly says the ads on the screen is just a bug, guys. We'll patch it. Yeah, it's so stupid, Hilly. For them to say that, for them to say that it was a mistake. Sorry, guys. It's just an error. It's just a UI glitch. It wasn't put in there by us. It was AI takeover. They didn't say the AI takeover. That's what I'm blaming it on, right? Ray says, anyone opt COD mobile or opened COD mobile saw all the bloated screen and uninstalled it as fast as possible. Kyle says the only bug is touch higher ups at Activision. Silver says, so if it's an error or is it a feature? Why refer to it as an error as a feature? Yeah, it was a feature, right, Silver? It was a feature. But then people pushed back on the feature, so they then defaulted back to it was an error. Okay? Come on. Right? We know that it wasn't an error. Like they say it got pushed out too early. Kyle says it's wild. They have the main battle pass and the limited time special battle pass and the FOMO, and they installed it, and actually insane. Now, here you go, right? So I play Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals has a lot of stuff going on, right? There's the store. There's the new skins they bring in every week. There's the battle pass. There's the smaller battle passes. One big difference, that's free. You didn't pay $70 or $80 to play the game, okay? It's 100% free. You can continue playing that game 100% free, okay? But Call of Duty you paid $70 for. $70. Kyle says it's just Stoner's Fortnite. All COD is now. Mo says if you buy the battle pass and just do the battle pass, you get enough for the next battle pass. Just saying. Right. But that's not the conversation, though, Mo. The conversation is that they're putting ads within a game that you already paid for. Right? They're promoting stuff while you're load screen, while you're setting up your guy. Ray says it's called Xbox pushing monetization. Microsoft own Activision Blizzard, so Microsoft should be responsible. No excuse, and they're also independent. Yeah, that's what Disney does on vacation. The more you spend, the more you save, right? Yeah, that's exactly right. The more you spend, the more you save. Waterbear says this is definitely what happens when you get too greedy. As a company, instead of making small changes that will also bring in more players, you make large changes and implement super heavy microtransactions for money. Instead of fixing your main issue, you're worried about microtransactions. Now you're also losing both players and money. But are they making enough money? Remember, we talked about this years ago. 20% makes 80%. 20% makes 80% of the profit. 20% of the player base makes 80% of the profit. So if they keep raising the prices, and we talked about this when Diablo Immortals came out for mobile devices, right? There's like one guy that spends $1,000. Well, how many copies is that, right? That's like what, 12 copies of the game if you paid $70, right? $1,000 for one guy. Then he spends $10,000 on other things, right? They're going to market it towards that person. They're going to do it more towards that. They're like, oh, well, they bought this. Well, if they bought Snoop Dogg, then maybe they'll buy Seth Rogen and they'll buy Cheech and Chong. They like those pot things, right? You know what I mean? I have nothing against marijuana or anything like that. What I'm saying is I'm just using it as an example, right? They look at what you paid for and they're like, well, let's thematically give something else to them. See if they buy that, right? I forget if it was it Stealth? I think it was Stealth, right? I made this comparison. I used Stealth. Stealth bought the Disney card game, whatever it was, and he tested it out. And when he first bought the first microtransaction, he was then pushed harder on the next microtransaction, okay? So once you buy the $1 microtransactions, then they push the $5 microtransaction on you. Once you buy the $5 microtransaction, they push the $10 microtransaction on you. Once you pay for the $10 microtransaction, they push the $100 microtransaction towards you. And that's the way they do it. They say, well, how far will this person go and how much money will this person give us? Well, if there's 100 people not paying at all, but this one person just keeps throwing money at it, well, they're going to look at this person because that's where they're making 80% of their money. Robert Jones says they're trying to blur the line between premium and free-to-play. Aku says, so many people don't see the cheating because they're shit players now that the cheating is getting into the competitive side, and it's funny. I mean, the cheating is going to happen, and more bots are going to be in the game, and then less people will be actual playing the game, and the people that are playing the game at 20% will think that they're playing against other people, but they're really not playing against other people, but they're having fun, so they're going to pay the money. Roadkill says they did go strong on the weed this Call of Duty. I'm sure they got a lot of young and smoking it. Yeah, you would have to look at it and go, well, why did they get so many of the same type of Cheech and Chong, Snoop Dogg, Seth Rogen? You know what I mean? What's wrong, Argus? I thought they were talking about the money pay. I haven't played in a minute, so I'll never see the ads. Again, Mo, if I open up my window, there's a Jason Voorhees is outside my window. He's about to murder me. If I close the blinds, doesn't mean it's not affecting me. There's still a murderer outside the window. Okay? Like, because you're not seeing ads doesn't make it a good thing because you're not playing the game. You're like, well, I'm not seeing ads because I haven't played in a hot minute. Like, okay. So then don't comment about the conversation because the conversation, if you're not in it, then don't talk about it. If you're playing the game, you're seeing ads. And the ads they're saying was an error. An error. No, they were there on purpose. They have to actually physically put them in the game and then make them go live. And if they made them go live by accident, they're still in the game and they were going to go live at some point. All of the console players use cheaters and PC crossplay excuse to hide how trash they are. It's because Activision is going to transform into the giant weed company. Maybe. Didn't they change it so you don't earn enough coins to buy the next battle pass now? I don't know. Did they do that in Call of Duty? I know in Fortnite they do mini seasons, right? This is how Fortnite got around it. So regular Fortnite seasons, you buy the battle pass, you get enough coins to get the battle pass, right? But then they put a mini season in between the big seasons, and you don't have enough. So you have just a little less that you get back. So you buy it, pay for the battle pass, okay? And then you have a little less. That means you have to put more money back in to get the bigger battle pass. All right. Let's go to the next one. We got lots of stories. What is this one? Is this one the one I'm playing, or is this the one? Oh, no, this is the other RuneScape one. So we have this story. Roka says you make enough money to buy each battle pass each season. You can earn 1,100 COD points each season, and that's what the battle pass cost. I know in Fortnite they do the mini seasons in between. So basically, the money you get back from the season pass, you'll spend on the mini pass, and then you don't make enough back from the mini pass, and then you have to pay more for the next season pass. I'm not sure about the Call of Duty. Well, they're probably doing that now, Jones, to bring people in, right? The Splitgate, they're probably doing that early on to get people to come in. And once people play the game and they enjoy the game, then they're like, oh, and then they'll probably tweak that where it's the same. All right, let's go to this. So, Jax confirms layoffs and puts RuneScape project on pause, which is a different RuneScape project because RuneScape Dragon Wilds, I don't think this is it. Maybe this is it. Recently, claims started surfacing suggesting that Jax had undergo a wave of layoffs. The reports appear on social media, and RuneScape fans claim that the fairly sizable chunk of Jax employees had parted ways with the company shortly after the major thread started on Reddit. Jax Mod stepped in to set the story straight. He has confirmed that a job reduction have hit Jax as part of their company's restructuring, and he has mentioned that the roles stripped from the company were from non-game devs and non-player-facing areas, and also redundancies shouldn't impact the development direction for RuneScape. At the same time, it was revealed that some of the priorities have shifted at Jax, meaning that the key RuneScape project has been on pause. He says in a statement published on Reddit, he says, yes, we have unfortunately been job reduction at Jax and has also been made as part of the changes of the company's restructuring, and Jax puts more emphasis on RuneScape games and community growth. The majority of the roles are from non-gaming devs and non-player-facing areas, and we also have some expectations within the RS team as part of the company's focus on streamlined development approach. He says, I'm sure that many of you are concerned about the means for RuneScape 3. This is not to change in any direction from the mods north has also said before that we're still committed to growing this game and investing in it. Our roadmap won't change because these job reductions won't be continued a great path, and we've been within the content, and we also talked to you about within when the time is right. What matters most right now are the people affected by this change, the studio's focus. I love when a studio, I love when a studio's like, yeah, we fired people, but our heart goes out to them. We have to fire you. We got to let you go, but I'm so sorry for the rough circumstances. Here's a fruit basket. I'm sorry, I have to get the fruit basket back because I have to give it to the next person that comes in to tell them they're fired. Right? Like they fired them, and then they're like, oh, our heart goes out to you. You know what I mean. You know what I mean? It's like, don't give me good, oh, we're so sorry for your loss. Like, you literally fired me. Fans were quick to point out the awkward chain of events that led to these layoffs, including the increase in membership costs for RuneScape, the cancellation of community request updates, and now the cutting and claimed senior team members who helped shape the game for the better. Oh, boy, I didn't even know about this stuff. Okay. So RuneScape's membership went up because, obviously, upper management, I'm going to say it, upper management doesn't know what to do with the money. So they've spent way too much money, more than they're bringing in. RuneScape's been around for, 20 years? Membership after membership after membership. What are you doing with that money? You're not taking a little nest egg and putting it out to the side for these hard days when it rains. You know what I mean? So something's awry here. Upper management looks like it's not managing money very correctly. And I blame a lot of people going to school that just don't understand math. Okay? They just like to, we're in a culture where we just spend more than we receive. People live above their means instead of below their means, right? They're like, I'll put it on a credit card. I'll put it on this, right? It's embedded in all these companies. All of these companies. They're like trying to make $1 billion, and yet they're in the moment where they're actually making money, where you can keep the money coming in, and yet they overspend. They hire too many people. They're running for the golden goose. The grass is greener on the other side, and yet they screw the people over that are on their team. Of course, they're getting rid of senior members. You know why? They get paid the most. Raise the price, cut the people that make the most, bring in more money for yourselves. Upper management, all over this. Okay? In a blog post, RuneScape site, Jax revealed that project has been placed on indefinite pause, and this was also the project-enabled private servers hosting, but thanks to shifting priorities, we no longer it's happening. The team wrote, after careful consideration, we've decided to pause work on Xanaris indefinitely. Are committed to delivering the best possible old-school RuneScape experience with a renewed focus and continued support from our incredible team. We're excited to keep making OS, or old-school RuneScape, even better for everyone. We understand that the feelings around the project were mixed, and many of the concerns raised were fair. The truth is that there are other areas of the core old-school experience that deserve more attention right now, while Xanaris is ambitious and innovative, and we wouldn't have met the expectations until much later in development. Rather than stretch our focus, we want to prioritize these that matter and most to you today. They tried to, someone's stealing money. Money's going somewhere in this where they're like, we're going to make a brand new game. And they're like, we're going to go back to old school, but we're going to raise the price, right? Because now they got to make up for the cost they spent, okay? So, very interesting. At least it's not RuneScape Dragon Wilds, because that's in early access. So, I'm a little worried and shaky about that now, because apparently a company that's been around for 20 years and makes money constantly every single month apparently can't hold on to money, right? But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, please check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Rokill says, all these gaming companies better be worried. MindsEye is coming out in a couple of days. Yeah. I have a feeling we're going to be reading an article like this where MindsEye Studio is going to be letting go of people. Let's mark that, right? Someone clip this, because I have a feeling MindsEye will be in the news where the company's letting go of people. In a month? What are we? We're on June 5th? Is that where we are? June 4th. Okay? So by August 4th, I'm sorry, July 4th, we'll hear stories about MindsEye letting go of people. Dolphin says another company that fucked up their good classic game by loot boxes and microtransactions. Sarge says your fucking heart doesn't go out to fucking anyone. You bloated company. You fucking chode. Jax always sucks with money. I'm always amazed, right? I'm always amazed. When I was younger, Argus, I always thought like businesses were amazing. I was like, oh man, they operate with all these people and organizations, and they last, and there's these huge companies. But then I started working for some of these companies, right? When I got into the actual world of department stores and hotel chains and Apple and all these other things, right? And I was like, how the fuck do these people keep their in business? There's a bunch of morons running the operations, right? They're spending more money than they can bring in. They wonder why it's happening. And you're like, how does it happen? It's absolutely amazing. But the more money you spend, the more money you save, right? Dolphin says 41%. I want audits for every company that fires people every year. Jax and Bungie go to the same strip club, apparently. Robert Jones says MindsEye doesn't even have staff. It's all AI probably. But no, they have 450 staff members. 450 staff members. That game is going to come out and bomb. No one's going to buy it. And then half of that studio is going to close. That's what's going to happen. 450. Let's just look at this, right? Let's take a rough estimate. We'll give a developer, okay? Let's go what? 60,000, 80,000? We'll do 80,000 because some people probably make 100,000 or whatever, right? We'll do $80,000 times 450 employees, right? That's $36 million. $36 million. Okay, $36 million. Let's say what? 3 years. 2022 is when we know that everywhere was being made, right? So we'll say what? 3-4 years. Let's times that by 4. That's $144 million, right? That's $144 million. Let's divide that by 60. That's 2.4 million copies sold of MindsEye. Do we think they can sell 2.4 million? That's before advertisement. That's before anything else. That's just rough estimate of just what they have for the actual employees there on average, plus what the game costs at $60. Do we think that it could sell 2.4 million copies? I don't know. Is it JagX? I just call it Jags. It's Jax now. That's it. $2.4 million copies sold at $60. That means it would sell more than Shadows. That means it would sell more than Star Wars Outlaws. That means it would sell more than Dragon Age Veilguard. For a brand new IP that nobody knows about. I don't know. I just don't see it happening. Look, if you want top of the line educational reading values, you can go to IGN. Right? You can go to those sites. If you want the pure adulterated butchered names from a person that I should sue the school board for my education. Okay? That's just what it is. It's what it is. I try to change it, try to fix it, but it is what it is. Sarge says it's not the number they sell, it's the number of people that will fall for the experiment. So whatever they sell, we need to remember that number. Oh, they won't tell the number. They will not say the number. They will not say the number when it comes, Sarge. They'll be like, there's 2 million people playing. Yeah. I mean, I guess they have to buy it. But I don't think people are buying it. Because it's not on a service. It's not on Game Pass. It's not on Ubisoft Plus. It's not on EA Play. It's their straight up their own game, MindsEye, on Steam and through the consoles. So we'll see. Warbear says people just don't up and leave out of nowhere right before your so-called release game. Yep, just saying. Yep. Well, not only did that show real gameplay, they told you what the game was just a week before. They're like, hey, by the way, everywhere's behind the scenes of MindsEye. Hey, you know that game? Remember that game, Grand Theft Auto? Well, we have a producer that worked on Grand Theft Auto all those years ago. Well, he's with us now. Okay, great. You want to show us some gameplay? Speaking of gameplay, right? Speaking of gameplay, we have this story, which is hold on, let me find it. For some strange reason, yesterday we talked about it. It wasn't actual gameplay. It said it on the screen. I said I was interested in the tech. I think the tech is cool and what they're doing. It looks awesome. It looks amazing. And then I said it was CD Projekt Red and their goodwill is gone with me. Okay. The Witcher 4 gameplay reveal wasn't actual gameplay from The Witcher 4. No shit. The guy on stage literally said tech demo. Tech demo. Right? While they were showing the actual, like, the piece. Okay? It was doing fly-throughs and flyovers. Okay? It wasn't like in-game playing exactly the thing. It was pre-recorded and showing what it was. They're like, no, you had a controller. And yeah, he was moving the character. But then when they jumped to, and they all of a sudden they're like, hey, let's do the circus. And then they just brought in people. It's part of the tech demo. They went into the trees and showed you what the geometry was. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's running on a base PlayStation 5. Yeah, that small portion of the game is running on a PlayStation 5. Congratulations. Not the entire game of Witcher 4 running on a PlayStation 5. So the Witcher 4 gameplay reveal wasn't actual gameplay from the Witcher 4. It said it on the screen. It said on the screen. The guy said it was a tech demo. Recently, CJ Projekt Red took to the stage during the State of Unreal presentation to reveal the technical capabilities of The Witcher 4, which is also being developed using the Unreal Engine. In a segment lasting several minutes, representatives of CD Projekt Red walked a view through the world of Witcher 4, showcasing what appeared to be our first glimpse of the gameplay from an open-world RPG. However, in the statement released shortly after the event, it was confirmed that there was not The Witcher 4, but a demo built using the technology powering The Witcher 4. That means the game's mind-blowing visual effects as shown in the demo shouldn't be taken as face value. That's exactly right. Pretty colors. Look at us. Buzzwords. Look at this. Oh my God, it's going to be great. Right? Gameplay, but not really. Fans were quick to highlight that CJ Projekt Red does this a lot, showcasing something stunning and then not delivering on it. And what they revealed at launch, it happened with The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt in 2015, and Cyberpunk 2077 in 2020. At the State of Unreal showcase, CD Projekt Red presented a lengthy breakdown of Witcher 3, showing Ciri exploring a gorgeous world, venturing into a town, and riding around with her new horse, Kepley. First of all, can someone please, Inciting Gaming, can you please double-check your work? Please. For God's sakes. The State of Unreal showcase, CD Projekt Red present a lengthy breakdown of The Witcher 3. No, sorry, it was The Witcher 4, showing Ciri exploring the gorgeous world, adventuring into a town, riding on her brand new horse, Kelpie. Okay, it looked jaw-dropping levels of beautiful, but it was also a little misleading. And we know now that it was not gameplay from Witcher 4. Was this written by a human? Let's see. Who wrote this? Grant Taylor Hill. Grant. Spell check. editor, someone look at your piece, okay? And this is coming from someone that can't pronounce words, okay? Can't pronounce words. However, in a statement released shortly after the event, it was also, see here, you say The Witcher 4, but a demo, right? You say it there, but for some reason you don't say it here. You say it down here from The Witcher 4. I'm a little confused. In a statement handed to VGC, it was revealed that this tech demo is at first look at the cutting-edge technology powering The Witcher 4, but not The Witcher 4 itself. So why don't they say that? Why don't they say that? Because the normies don't care. The normies see beautiful colors and things. They're like, oh my God, I can't wait to get it. And they went out right then and there and bought a PlayStation 5. It's just what they do. Okay? In a showcase, the powerful foundation we're building is close collaboration with Epic Games to push open world design further than ever before, and the core system and features we're developing using Unreal Engine 5. We're really proud of the early milestone and excited to give you a sneak peek at some of the cool tech, like the UAF nanite foliage smart objects, which they showed the year before in Hydra, 1943, and we're helping shape the future of The Witcher. It was a showcase of what might, I love it's bold, it might be possible with the development of Witcher 4, but the entire thing was heavily computed, pre-rendered sequences of events that was jazzed up to look as good as possible for the benefit of the showcase. Will The Witcher 4 look that good when it releases? Probably not. But the track record suggests they look almost as good. After all, The Witcher 3 is now a decade old and still holds up. Okay? So, again, it literally said on the screen, not actual gameplay. Here, let's go to it, shall we? Let's go to the actual thing. Let's see. Unreal 5.6 Witcher 4. I know it's really hard to see. I know it's really hard to see, right? But at the bottom right here, technical presentation, not actual gameplay. Says it right there the entire time. I can't zoom in to show you. I don't have the Minority Report enhance, okay? But you're going to have to trust me. That's what it says. Technical presentation, not actual gameplay. Okay? Showing through the entire thing, but conveniently, it gets a little lighter as the gameplay happens. Okay? It gets a little lighter when the gameplay happens, so much so that you can barely see it. But that's probably just a UI error, right? That's probably a UI error. They're not trying to hold you back off something. You're like, oh, no, that's because of the background. Nope. 100%. It gets lighter as it goes. Like the opacity gets worse and worse as it goes. But it's there. It's there. Let's see what you guys are saying here. $140K was playing the closed beta this weekend. No one cares. Who was playing what beta this weekend? Eclipse. Which beta? Roka says, did you see that, though, that they couldn't run it on the Xbox? This is why they chose the PlayStation 5. Well, no, they chose the PlayStation 5 because PlayStation 5 is the most sold console. That's why they did it, Roadkill. I mean, they could have easily done the tech demo on a PC. Easily. But I'm pretty sure that PlayStation was like, there you go. Right? I'm pretty sure that PlayStation paid to be said, hey, it's on a PlayStation 5. Roadkill says, I wonder why the PlayStation 5 is always preferred console. I have a question for you, Roadkill. If you're a business owner and you want your tech game being promoted in some way, shape, or form, who are you going to market it to? The smaller market or the bigger market? I think we know the answer, right? Witcher 2 is better, Roadkill? More people own a PlayStation, Roadkill. Why would you show it off to the platform no one owns? Exactly right. State of Unreal, this is also a tech demo, not gameplay. Ponies, did you guys see that gameplay on PlayStation 5? Waterbed says, we all know this was actual gameplay from the Switch 2 version. That's right. This was the Switch 2 version. Core features equal jank texture popping, ray tracing nonsense, online only, microtransaction full, apology included with the pre-order. It's called fucking liars. Jason says, horse muscles only possible on the PlayStation 5. There isn't anything that PlayStation can run that the Series X can't. Right, the PlayStation 5. Sarge says he holds a controller in his hand and you guys think it's automatically a PlayStation 5 demo. I mean, look, guys.
Like Geralt of
I'm
Rivia
playing the game right now.
has her own loyal companion.
I'm playing the game right now. Oh, look, jump over there.
We return to
Cutscene. It's a cutscene.
These two characters need to feel
Let me
like
get
one.
on. Let me get on the
Since
horse.
You're gonna explore
let me
the
get
world
over there.
on horseback. Riding needs to feel seamless.
I'm playing on the
natural,
cloud. It's a little.
and just
It's a
fun.
little lag.
Yeah,
It's a
and to
little
support
lag.
that, we're
Look, guys,
introducing
first ever, I'm
multi-character
playing
motion
the tech
matching in
demo
Unreal.
of The Witcher.
So
Oh,
Syrian
get on
Kelpie,
that.
they're perfectly synchronized when mounting from any
I'm gonna
angle
pet the horse.
and
Little
speed.
emote there.
And we also
All right, let's
support root motion movement on Kelpie, so controlling her feels realistic and grounded.
Yeah, I'm playing.
And there are also
right?
some really
I'm
nice
playing.
improvements to our Unreal Chaos Flesh.
Series X technically more powerful, by the way. It's the S that holds it back. Argus says also you can use the PlayStation 5 controller on a PC, so possibly wasn't even on a PlayStation. But they would be lying, Argus. They wouldn't lie, would they? No, they wouldn't lie. No one's gonna lie. Microtransactions, Gerald's skin for $2,000. Remember that Killzone 2 reveal trailer many years ago? I did. I do. Yes, Pepperidge Farm remembers. Pepperidge Farm remembers, Ron. What else do we got here? We got the talking about that. Talk about that. Oh, we got this. This is this could be coming out. This is rumored, right? Which is probably not rumored, which is probably real. And then someone wrote an article and it says rumored, even though it's probably coming out, right? Rumored, God of War Metrovania game will feature Kratos' brother. It's claimed. First off, just saying, if you put rumored in the beginning, you don't need to put it's claimed in the end of your sentence. If you're rumored in the beginning, it's claimed is not needed here. You could say God of War Metrovania game will feature Kratos' brother, rumored, or rumored, right? But you don't need to put rumored and it's claimed. Rumor about the new God of War Metrovania game will have started circulating online. It seems to be upcoming title will also have you playing as the, was that Deimos, Kratos' brother. Butchered that. How do you say that? Come on.
Deimos.
Deimos. Yeah, Deimos. All right. Kratos' brother. New information comes. Where am I? New information comes from a reliable insider, okay, who recently spoke about the rumored God of War title on his Discord chat. Nick stated that the upcoming God of War title is set to Greek mythology. A genre is Metrovania, okay, and the players will also take the role of Deimos, Kratos' brother. And Nick also added the announcement should arrive this year. which could be today. Okay. Another leaker from Reset Era has provided additional details about the God of War Metrovania title, and they collaborated that the fact that the Deimos will return and that the game is set in Greece put a prior of Kratos turning into a god. There's also some more information that the game is being developed under supervision of Santa Monica, and Mega Cat Studios could be involved. Also, a project is heavily inspired by Blasphemous. It's also been 3 years since the received God of War Ragnarok, and there's also yet to hear anything new about the upcoming titles for the franchise. Didn't they add a Metroidvania style thing? Was it last year? Right? They added that, a free DLC type of thing. However, according to the latest rumors, this developers are also going to be a spin-off title instead of a mainline installment. Regardless of, players should take this information with a grain of salt and wait for the official announcement to know for sure. In other news, the God of War series showrunner recently spoke about not being a gamer. Also, a PlayStation State of Play event is scheduled for today. And what are your thoughts on the God of War Metrovania? Look, if it's another God of War, I think this is good. Just like Minecraft made a dungeon crawler type of thing, like a Diablo style type of game. If you're going to take an IP like God of War, which was a side-scroller back in the day, side-scroller platformer type of thing, right? And then they turn it into the 3D type of thing. Then they turn it into what we have today. And now they're going to go back to like a Metrovania type of style. That makes sense, right? That makes absolutely sense that they would do something like that. So I just think it's funny. Rumored. It's claimed. Is the rumor claimed? I'm not too sure. I don't know if that's super exciting. It'd probably be a smaller title, right? And obviously Santa Monica is supervised it, but it doesn't look like they're actually making it. So we'll see what happens today. Probably later today, they'll show it. It's claimed. It's rumored. Eclipse says that the anthem that we saw is the anthem that we got, right? My son was just playing Anthem yesterday. He has to play on my account. He was playing. And I looked at that game, and I'm like, man, that game's good. It looks so good. They got the front part right, and then just kind of like, we'll work on it later. They never got that chance. You need a soundbite? Pepperidge Farm remembers. I'll get that. I'll get that, Sarge. Ron says, why would you want to play as his brother? What's next? You play as his grandma? Maybe. You know, you gotta bring it in. It could have been worse, Ron. You could have played as his sister. Sarge says its claim is this instance means that this rumor is claimed. So this means it's crumbled, isn't real, which means the statement completely unnecessary to write. But rumor is all you need. It's rumor that there's a new God of War game, right? But you don't have to put it's claimed. So we're just going to play as a regular Spartan because there's reasons why Kratos has powers. I fact-checked Kratos' brother, but not Jagex. That's right. That's right. See, I learned. I was like, oh, wait, you know what? I can just let it speak on screen. Let's see what else. How would his sister be worse? His sister would be worse, Travis, because people don't want to play. You see, never mind. It's over your head. It's like that Superman emote. What? Playing the grandma's rocking chair, Goat Sim, was awesome. So ridiculous. All right, let's see if we have... I had a video the other day. I was going to watch something, and I lost it. Which one was it? Was it Kingard's? Kingard had a video, but it's really long. It's like a 40-minute long video. Ray says, I can't wait for the showcase. I hope tomorrow we get to see a release date for Sword of the Sea. It's been shown by the State of Play 2 years ago. PS5 says the state of play is going to be hilarious and sad at the same time. No showcase for Sony. 10 canceled games in 3 years. I would like stuff. Look, I'm going in with no expectations, right? I think they need to show 100%. They need to show Wolverine. They got to show something of Wolverine. What is this? Co says the making of Dune Awakening. The makings of Dune Awakening. I kind of want to watch that. Oh, here, real quick. We can actually do the No Man's Sky. Let's go to the No Man's Sky thing.
This.
All right. No Man's Sky's got another update. And they're putting it on the Switch 2, right? And they updated it. So if you have No Man's Sky on the Switch 1, you automatically get the update on Switch 2. You don't have to buy No Man's Sky again for Switch 2. You can just play it on the Switch 2. And all the stuff that they just added comes with it as well, right? And they have other features as well. They have like multiplayer now on the Switch 2. Okay? Not on Switch 1, though. On the Switch 2. All right, so let's watch this. Upper corner here, it does tell you all the stuff that's in the game as it goes.
This is the Beacon update.
Settlement overhaul.
A huge overhaul for
Weather
settlements
materials.
in No Man's Sky. With huge new
Own multiple
robotic
towns.
settlements to discover.
Settlement
Each
histories.
inhabitant now has their own abilities
Building
and
stats.
attributes. There are new building types, such as
Inhabitant
bars
details.
and fishing ponds. Become the mayor of
This is in,
multiple settlements.
Dilemmas. Upgrade buildings. Robot town.
Manage your town and
Fireworks
customize its
park.
production.
Squadron defenses. Fishing pond. No membership needed.
Upgrade each building
Management
to
decisions.
create your perfect settlement.
Custom settlements.
Hire a squadron
New
to
utilities.
protect from attacks.
Variety settlement threats.
Resolve disputes as town mayor. More will follow.
Auto phage base parts. Yeah, this is all on Switch 2. Here. We'll watch this as
Peggy
well.
12.
It's always so exciting to get our hands on a new platform. Our latest update for No Man's Sky, it's called Beacon, and it adds Nintendo Switch 2 support at launch. For the last year, we've had this little secret room hiding some dev kits. With the original Switch, we were pushing right at the edge of what was possible. No Man's Sky on Switch 2 is just a huge leap forward. The extra horsepower, it allows us to add full multiplayer for the first time on Switch 2. Cross-save and cross-play are there from day one, allowing players a seamless experience across devices. We've massively pushed the density and level of detail out. We're rendering significantly more than before at a much higher resolution and also an increased frame rate. Our latest update, Beacon, it adds these huge, dense robot towns. You can upgrade the settlements. Each inhabitant has their own little backstory. This just wasn't possible before and is new for Switch 2. On the original Switch, we were maybe the only developer to support FSR. It was real technical wizardry. We're building on this. On Switch 2, the game looks incredibly sharp and high-res. We've upped texture density across the board and increased resolution significantly in both handheld and TV mode. The UI is super crisp. We support touchscreen, gyro controls, cross-save, multiplayer.
Gyro controls
There's so
seem
many
cool.
little touches that make No Man's Sky such a natural fit on handheld. From day one, new players are benefiting from 9 years of updates, just tons of huge additions. We've been working on this for over a year. I'm super proud of what the team has achieved. Our Switch 2 edition is just another free update for existing players. We can't wait for you to see it for yourself.
So there you go. So existing players, if you already own it, you get all of this with the multiplayer stuff on your Switch 2. Let me see what else we can... the Dune Awakening thing, I kind of want to watch that just to see what he has to say. The makings of Dune... Let me see what this is for
we are going to be interviewing one of the Dune devs. Now, I was
this is the
very
interview.
impressed with the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I watched this. No. We'll... Oh, you know what? He does say something. I'm going to go back to that.
He
does say something at the end. I watched this interview. I think it's
customer
here.
support. We have customer service, right? So people will be able to report griefing. People will be able to report things that are incidents like that are happening in the game. So yes, we will do things. We will probably. I don't know if it's clear. I think we have a policy for player behavior as well. Essentially, you could underline it as "Don't be a
dick." Yeah.
Essentially, but yeah. So people will be able to be reporting things like griefing. Everybody disagrees on what griefing is.
That,
so that's
yeah, I wasn't really going to go into it, but yeah, I was going to be like, so you guys are going to have public guidelines on exactly what griefing is and isn't, right?
I mean, it's impossible.
Exactly,
to do, right?
It is impossible. Yeah.
It's especially because like I give an example of something that happened in the closed beta that was kind of interesting, and
this is not what I want. This is
respawn point, and then sort of laughed at them and made fun of them and kept killing them. And that's like somewhere else. That's a different kind of kettle. Explaining every rule of griefing to people would never.
Bike, go into my storage, select my bike, and do it over.
Yes,
yes.
Because quick deposit's always done from the outside.
Like, it actually frustrated me that my
he talks about the
and having people
guilds.
just complain.
Yeah.
Is
or not guilds,
the best
factions.
Game dev feedback you get, because it's like and one of the things you said was like, why is quick deposit a hold? And I think
was that the thing you were talking about with Conan Exiles a long time ago?
Streamers playing it, and I was watching you stream.
Oh, we got to go back here. Hold on a second.
Why not?
What was it? The rule of cool.
I gotta find it.
I like that.
Exactly.
He talks about the guild, the factions.
Oh, one thing I did notice. So in the Ornithopters, they had the same go
to you if you're too close to the sand, for sure.
Ice harvesting in deep desert. One person thumping, one person harvesting, transporters, guard scouts. Is there anything like that in the PvE version of the Dark Desert or the Deep Desert, or is that only available in the?
So it's in the rocky zone.
Oh, okay. So there's not.
According to lore,
I gotta see which one is
safe. So that still like, again, 24 kilometers wide and whatever, a couple of kilometers.
Very cool. So you talked a little bit about these instances that can spawn in the Deep Desert and how they were PvE in the instances. You can zone in as a party, that kind of stuff. But one thing so to get to the instances, you have to take your party through the PvP zone, right?
Yes. And the instances are full PvP as well.
Oh, wait, I thought the instances were per player. So you're saying
they're open dungeons.
Oh, I totally missed that. I thought it was like Anarchy Online style little instances you were going into. Oh, I didn't realize it was like they're all full PvP dungeons.
Yes, open. Yeah, exactly. Open dungeon spaces. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So one, the instances are open, right? So if I'm in a place, anyone can come in the PvP section and still attack you. It's not an instance just for you.
Well, that's certainly more interesting. I first thought they were PvE only, which was why it was a little confusing. You had to go through the PvP zone to get to the PvE, but that makes a lot more sense. So that is kind of the Darkness Falls situation. Okay, that's very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so that and I'm assuming that's where all the best loot is going to be.
Yes.
Yeah, probably. So as we talk about stuff like that, because that absolutely makes things very interesting. How are you guys dealing with like what is the system in place for deep desert safety stuff? Like if I zone out of this instance, am I going to get 60 seconds? Am I zone out? Am I going to have time to run somewhere or teleport or something? Or is it going to be the kind of thing where, if I zone out and there's 5 people in a semicircle around me, well, here's my stuff, guys.
Yeah, if remember that you don't drop everything in PvP, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not a full loot game. So that's an important thing to remember. There's a 30.
Well, that's another thing. You don't drop everything. There is a perk that if the faction wins, there's something that you can do where you do lose everything, but you don't actually lose everything.
Second timer on log out.
30 seconds.
Right? So if you try to log, yep.
Is that on zone
That's
as well?
30 seconds. No, because you can't zone from the deep desert. You have to go back through the PvE area to get out. So there's no time.
What about are the instances in the world? You don't zone in and out of the instances?
No, they're just part of the world. So
Oh.
just walk in the right. Yeah.
Oh.
It's like I think you probably ran through.
I think that the one I'm thinking of
was
was the ship in the bottom part of the map that had you had to like get the key nearby and then that would pop it open. It was a little PvP area. So it's basically like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
oh,
exactly,
okay.
Exactly that.
I'm sorry. I heard the word instance and was thinking I apparently went on a big tangent that I shouldn't have gone down. Okay. I'm used to like traditional MMO, like separate zone instances. So that was a little confusing.
No.
That was totally
Yeah,
my
no,
bad.
we have instancing only on the like overland map, right? The little map that you move around, and we only have that for the story stuff.
Okay.
Really. Right. We don't have instances in the deep desert. We don't have instances in the Haga Basin, right?
Perfect. So is there any initial plan to handle any type of player griefing?
Okay, that's the griefing section. So I you know what? We should probably just listen to the fucking interview. I gotta find it. I want him to say it himself.
The private side, and you guys aren't going to do it for us. Makes sense. I like it.
Yeah, we're not going to do the like 100% completion.
He talks
like
about
we
the
do in
servers
Haga
there.
Basin because we.
That's exactly what I was wondering. If there was like a system like that for the deep desert. Cool. So
no, there's not. Yeah.
Here's some other questions about the deep desert that I'm very interested in. So there's all sorts of things we could talk about mega guilds and
Here it is.
mega griefing guilds. And of course, we have guild limit set to 32, but players will find a way around that. They'll have a 32 guild of officers, and each one manages their own 32-player guild, et cetera, et cetera. So now, granted, it's going to be really hard for them to all get on the same server, I'm sure. So the idea of, but here's my question. When I'm a solo player, and I do want to participate in this, am I going to have tools to hide myself, to stay in stealth, to reduce how far enemies can detect me? Like, you guys said there was ratting. Is there mechanics for that? Or is it just like, man, I hope I get lucky and don't get within 300 meters of an ornithopter and have an icon pop up above my head kind of thing?
Yeah, so I mean, mechanics are mechanics, right? Like there's deliberate decisions like we made about like not having name tags and things like that. You can hide against the backdrop of the world because you aren't visible to players. Right, like it's not like, and then I'm sort of getting ahead of myself. But when we're working in some of the Fremen stuff in the future, there'll definitely be ways to do what the Fremen do, bury yourself in sand and things like that.
Okay.
So there'll be mechanics around that are coming. But I don't think like there's a specific like we don't have an invisibility mode or a stealth mode that hides you right now. It's more about like how do you approach entering the deep desert? How do you make sure that like. It's interesting in closed beta because there's a lot of discussions around these kind of tactics and how people do things. It's also people. It's interesting because a lot of people who don't go to the deep desert complain about the deep desert, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Because people say, "Oh, I just don't want to get ganked," and then other people are like, "I go there all the time and nobody's around. I don't know what you're talking about because like." Because I can sneak out and get things and come back. So the rat playstyle exists. I don't think we've done anything specifically to support it. So I'll, freely admit that. But I think that the game lends itself, and the decision we made to make this really big. This is why we even developed server meshing tech, the game to have this very large space, because very large space means that like we want people like the general core of the philosophy for PvP in our game is fight over things. Don't go around ruining other people's like time. And I can't prevent it, right? That's just a mentality some people have. But that's why we have spice blowers that are giant and you can see them in the distance because we're drawing people to a location. That's why we have control points. We're drawing people to a location. We want people to be drawn to locations and we want them to fight each other over those things. What we're trying to do is support people who don't want to be involved. not only sneaking in and getting out, but also I think one of the things that we've done that is fairly consistent across the game is that we've made player mobility very high. So you can be chased, but you can escape, especially if you're like a solo player with a boosted.
It's one of my favorite parts of the game. Even just the jetpack and the grappling hook, man. That's a whole different level of mobility. Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's been fun. Yeah, and fun watching people play with it. Like I know you're friends with Chris Sacriel.
Mm-hmm.
He was just right into it straight away as soon as he found that in the game. It was crazy.
Yep, I completely see it. I completely see it. So the deep desert. Do all resources spawn and or respawn in the deep desert, or on every refresh is there ever something that can only be used or picked up once?
Yes, sorry. During the week things respawn.
Okay.
You did, dog.
They
yeah, we
won't
talked about
show up
Russian
in
fishing.
other weeks, if that makes sense.
Are there any mechanics that are going to make it so major guilds feel a need to be on the second the servers come up from a wipe, outside of taking capture points to earn ambient stuff over time?
I think the scouting is probably the biggest one.
Cool. Probably a good way to make
Getting
money too, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Getting the maps made.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that'll be the first wave of people into the desert, right?
I have to admit,
scouting mapping.
I got a little nervous when you were like, yeah, once we take this capture point, we're going to make it for our team. And I was like, wait a second, you take the capture point and then it immediately works like for the rest of the week? I was like, is the server going to reset and then everyone's just going to have to go get capture points for the next hour? But no, that sounds great. So the way it works is it actually just does points over time based on who holds it.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep. Exactly.
Right, so that whoever maintains that point, which I think I said when we watched it, when whoever maintains that point gets the points for that, and it goes towards their faction, right? If someone else takes it over, so you got 7 days of that point being open, and whoever owns it keeps getting the points for that spot, right? So there's going to be all these spots all over the map. And whoever owns those spots is getting that resources or whatever into them. So at the end of the week, whoever has the most gets to win the vote.
For that.
All right, awesome. So a few other here and there questions. Can you hold a buggy on an ornithopter transport and shoot from the turret?
That's very specific.
Because if the answer is no, we're gonna need that.
Yeah, I don't know if I've tested that specific one. I know that you can. Might be able to. I actually haven't tested it.
Okay.
So that's a really good question. I know that you can, for example, on sand bikes, sit in the passenger seats and shoot. You can shoot out of the buggy when you're sitting there. You can shoot out of.
Oh my god.
So you can do those things. I have never tested the specific scenario of like picking up a buggy with a turret on top and firing.
I think I'm
because see, now I'm thinking of 5 ornithopters, 5 turreted, tanks flying up.
He says that the faction, basically there's 2 factions. After the game comes out, they're going to add a 3rd faction, which is basically the neutral. But the way he describes it, I'm going to say it wrong. So if there's 2 factions, and let's say you don't want to be a part of any of these factions, right? And you're like, well, I want to be a part of the thing, but I don't want to be a part of these factions, which is the third party, basically. Your whole thing is you want these 2 factions at the end of the week to be a tie, okay? And if they're a tie, then you win as the third party, right? Does that make sense? So you'll get the benefits, and you guys win if they're tied.
Yeah. That's the stuff that's the sandbox stuff that's fun that people are going to find when the game launches. Right?
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I mean, I don't have an answer, but it's entirely possible.
It's a living game, right? It can always be added if it's not there.
Yeah. I don't think it's impossible.
Awesome.
It's probably there. Because we are very lenient about those kind of things because we think it's fun to like make sure that.
What was it? The rule of cool. I like that.
Exactly.
The rule of cool, the rule of fun. That's good. Oh, one thing I did notice. So in the ornithopters, they had the same sand detector as you would have when you're on the ground. I also noticed some of those worms go pretty high into the sky. Do they ever go after flying things?
Yes.
They do.
Yeah,
so they'll jump out of the ground, like try to get something in the air.
I mean, they won't fully emerge, so you won't.
They will like jump out like a dolphin. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll come up. They'll come up after you if you're too close to the sand for sure.
Very
but don't fly
cool.
Too close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. We saw in that presentation a very cool group coordinated spice harvesting in Deep Desert. One person thumping, one person harvesting, transporters, guard scouts. Is there anything like that in the PvE version of the?
Yeah, he already said that. Sorry, guys. I
Yeah,
don't know
like a
where it
Deep
was. I
Desert.
thought it was
I
later
want,
in the
I want to
thing.
make, one of the first things I do in my mind is I make a checklist. I say, okay, here's the saves and skill points and stuff like that. Is there going to be a way for me to know like how much of the Deep Desert I've done? Like something like that? Or is it more of just this big mysterious?
In what eco lab? The plan is to try and like, and as I was saying, we keep sprinkling things in so it becomes more and more over time, because I think like what we have is like I always say this to people, and it's kind of a cop out, but it's a true statement. The game we're launching is the worst the game will ever be. Like that's the reality, if you know what I mean, right? Like,
Yeah, because it's a living game, live service game, and they say they have a 10-year plan, which I think I hate. I hate when they say 10-year plan. I like cringe because of Bungie saying that.
because the game you launch with in a live game, and then you keep adding to it. And I know you've said this about Funcom in the past as well. We keep working on our games till they're better.
You do.
Right? So our game will launch, the launch version of the game. I think it's pretty good, but it's still going to be the worst version because we're going to keep working on it.
Let's just not hope for a catastrophic patch, but I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. You know what
I know what you're talking about.
I guess what I'm trying to say
is... It moves forward. It keeps moving forward. You keep building. It keeps building.
My job is to be optimistic, so I'm
You're doing a great job.
I'm assuming we're not going to have catastrophic patches. But like Deep Desert in the same sense is also like this is the most barren it will ever be.
Is it at the end, Eclipse?
Right over time. So I don't think players will have a checklist. I think people will build
right.
Very
is it
quickly.
at the end?
Yeah. So
I see already in closed beta people are already like
maybe it's the
coming up
last
with ways
question.
to show off their Deep Desert plan to other people already. So
and that's where this interesting kind of schism happens, because like I look at the world map of the starting area as my solo player, and I'm seeing 0 of 1 intel here. You've gotten 2 of 3 things here, and I'm going, oh man, I want to do map completion. Like I want to crawl through this game. I want to like
here. I'll go here.
You came to this building through a Darfari camp that we built.
Some applause.
Or, I don't know, maybe you'll think it's lame, but I think it's fun. I had never watched streamers.
He's talking about him
one
streaming.
Of the more popular ones, and I was like, oh, who's this guy? What? Because you were like, there's got to be a secret here. Funcom don't do stuff like this.
Yeah, he's talking about the secret.
So, when we made our first dungeon in the game, that location, you have to drag a character onto that spot and slit their throat. And you, it was...
I am honored to have
he talks about
elicited
the blood entrance.
my resume. Dude, that's amazing.
it was really cool. Yeah. So that was like
God, that was 6 years ago. 7. That's crazy. We can commiserate together after this. Man, thank you so much, Joel Bylos, the creative director of Dune Awakening, coming out on June 5th.
I don't remember
for
it being
Access,
in the beginning.
Was it January or January? June 10th. June 10th. I love Natasha. She's so good. June 10th for full release. June 5th for early access or advanced access, not early access. Big thank you, of course, Joel.
I guess it would have been easier just to watch
I would
the whole
love,
fucking
if you
thing,
don't mind, like maybe we could do this again.
He definitely talks about how there's a third faction after. He said it's not coming at launch because Ko says it's at launch. He corrects him and says it's not at launch, it's shortly after launch. And then he says the third faction stops the other 2 factions from dominating, right? And he goes into this whole thing about being one group taking over the whole thing. Then there's an interview with Shroud. He talks to the developers as well and talks about the Zerg or the Red Baron type of where people get these organized groups and they take over a server, and that's what they do. Anytime there's a new game like this, these guys get together and they get an organized group and they do it. But the way it's structured, the way the game Dune Awakening is structured, there's only 40 people per instance or server. It's really strange the way they describe it, right? But there's instances, but it's like seamlessly going through. So I'm not too sure. We'll see how it works out when it comes out.
PvP. Just to be clear about that, right? I don't think that was obvious, maybe.
No, I definitely thought it was mostly PvP. It sounded like the end game thing.
You know what? Let's just fucking watch this.
PvP, right?
It's all the faction.
Okay.
So everybody...
it's in the beginning.
In that game at the beginning, there was a system called the orbs. And basically what you could do is go out into the PvP area, accomplish goals for your side, and then if you were able to retrieve the orbs, it made you stronger. Now, I noticed in the rewards for the Landsrad system, I saw things like 30% extra melee damage, you know, some big bonuses. And I'm assuming, first quick question, all of those bonuses go into PvP, right?
It's all the faction.
Okay.
So everybody
in
are trainees aligned on the entire world, not just in PvP.
Okay.
But it goes into PvP as well. But yes.
So the thinking here is in Guild Wars 2, they ended up removing that system because it was making the winners stronger.
Right. And this, we talked about this. I said this system is going to be bad. Like in New World, one group takes over the whole thing. Second group's close, but not really. And the third group's just non-existent.
And what it was doing is making it so like they just kept winning. There was no system to counterbalance it because they were gaining strength by winning. And this kind of ties into that question that somebody asked about the unique weaponry, like, you know, how that plays into it. So my thinking is, or my question is, how are you counterbalancing that? Right now, from what we saw, the winners are getting stronger. So what are the losers getting?
So I alluded to like that we have sort of a balancing system that runs a bit behind the scenes. So if a guild is, if a faction is becoming too dominant, there's changes in the tasks for the other side.
They become like non-PvP related kind of thing?
So none of the tasks right now in the Landsrad are 100% PvP. Just to be clear about that, right? I don't think that was obvious, maybe.
No, yeah, like, I definitely thought it was mostly PvP. It sounded like the end game thing.
It's kind of the opposite, I would say. What every Landsrad square on that board is asking for about 70,000 points. The way you achieve those points.
So every one of these things is 70,000 points.
Is through multiple different things. One of them is taking a control point in the deep desert, which is a PvP. And then you earn 10 points per hour that you hold a control point, right?
Okay.
Adding up.
Oh.
So this is what I'm saying, right? So in the week, that control point is worth 70,000. So if one of those control points is one of these blocks, right? So that controller point that he had was like hurrah or haggle, I think it was. Okay. So this block is worth 70,000 points. So if my faction's on this point for the majority of the week, we get 50,000 of the 20,000 points, right? Or of the 70,000 points. So the other faction gets 20,000 points to their overall score, right? You understand? So it doesn't matter who has it over. It's like if you hold it for 5 seconds, you're getting points. If you hold it for 10 minutes, you're getting points. But there's 70,000 points total for that segment.
All different things. One of them is taking a control point in the deep desert, which is a PvP. And then you earn 10 points per hour that you hold a control point, right?
Okay.
Adding up.
Okay.
But there's another task under that, which is deliver 5 fully crafted ornithopters to the quartermaster. And that gets you 700 points per ornithopter delivered. So people who like to craft...
Right. So if you are just a crafter and you're part of your guild or whatever, the faction... You don't want to do any kind of war. You're just building shit, going out, finding pieces, building ornithopters, and then putting them in, and then getting them. And you get 700 points per one that you make.
And participate. It has nothing to do with PvP for them. It's just that they have to go out, mine resources, and craft these ornithopters to deliver. And so there's multiple tasks per Landsrad square that can be achieved. All of them contain some PvE tasks. All of them have a PvP component as well, so you can choose your activity. Okay, our faction has a 33% damage bonus. Everybody in our faction has that this week, this Landsrad period. And the other faction might choose to focus on the non-combat tasks.
Right. So let's say your faction needs more resources or something, then you're going to pick a point that helps you with that section. Right? You're not just picking better weapons, better things. You're like, we need more parts, so you're going to go to the place that gives you the bonus for parts.
Because it will help them, right?
So theoretically, someone could join a guild as a support member that, let's say, has some accessibility things that make it so they can't do PvP because, you know, one of their hands isn't working properly. And they could still completely participate every week by just focusing on the non-combat stuff.
100%. That is the goal, right?
Okay.
Make the system work so that people...
Right. So this point that they're holding right now, they're just getting points. Right? It's like in Battlefront or Battlefield, the longer you hold the point, the more it goes up, right?
People can be involved, yeah.
I like that. Another quick thing going to the unique weapons thing. I think there may have been an unintentional like if then in there that made it sound like it wasn't as nearly cool as I think it is. Because at one point somebody said, "Will unique weapons give somebody a sense of power?" And the response was, "No, unique weapons aren't that powerful. Don't worry about it." Essentially. But then that made me go like, but wait a second, don't I want the carrot on the stick of getting the unique weapons? Like, aren't they significantly more powerful, and that's why I want them? So I was wondering like what exactly are the unique weapons? Are we talking like gameplay differences or just like updated versions of powers?
So I think it's one of the things that our economy team has done a good job with, is trying to make the unique weapons actually feel like they do different things, not just like add stat, right? Add stat.
The reason we're watching this is because I know a lot of you guys are interested in this. I'm interested in this, and it's coming out like today, tomorrow, whatever it is.
Again, I call us morons because we try to.
It's like less than 24 hours. It's coming out.
Hard things. This is one of them. So instead of add stat,
I've been here for minutes since Anarchy Online. I know you guys bite off so much more than you can chew. It's great.
We always do. So this is like so one of the things is like the assault rifle you get. There's a unique assault rifle type that you get, and it's called the Stammer Shot. I think I was playing with it yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind. The Stammer Shot fires 3 bullets instead of. Instead of a burst, it fires 3 bullets on its own, so it has a completely different.
Oh, like 3 in 1, like.
Yep.
Not like do.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Right, exactly. So it feels very different as a weapon. It's a unique weapon. It acts and behaves differently to other things, right? And then there's so you get, so all of the uniques in the game have kind of some level of this, like, how to.
I've never listened to what's his name, Moriarty. So I'm not too sure.
A little bit as well.
Colin.
They definitely feel different and unique, which is kind of the point.
Yeah.
And that's always been the goal. But yeah, so people will want the unique. So I'm not saying that. I think what we're saying is, I think Scott was pointing out that the PvE content in the game does not require you to have the highest tier weapons to do it right now. It's not like, so to take a classic MMORPG example, right? In World of Warcraft, you go and you get the best dungeon gear so you can run the first basic raids. Run those raids to get the extra small amount of percentage so you can continue running raids to get better and better at raids. That's not how we've set things up here right now. So I think what Scott was trying to say was that you don't need it, but people will always want it because that's just.
I was going to say now I believe you, and I'm gonna let you finish. But as a PvE player, I do need the best gear. In fact, I need the best PvP gear on my PvE character because I do.
Yep, and that's
okay.
Where I think people are scared, but I think it's going to work out, right? Like that's how it is, yeah.
Okay. Very cool, very cool. So here, this deep desert concept is incredibly interesting to me. I go back and I think of like some almost like Darkness Falls stuff from DAOC and kind of how that's working with the washing back and forth. In your vision, how much stuff in the deep desert is like one-time use kind of stuff? And let me explain what I mean by that. If I have a mechanic in a game like a deep desert, I want to make, one of the first things I do in my mind is I make a checklist. I say, okay, here's the stuff I need to do.
Part, right?
So I know I can go and get the repeatable harvested like spice. I know I can go and get, but I noticed that there were like lots of other objectives spawning on there. Things like derelict caves and skill points and stuff like that. Is there going to be a way for me to know like how much of the deep desert I've done? Like something I can like a running tally of, what I need to do each week and what's left to do and stuff like that? Or is it more of just this big mysterious, you guys are just going to let players figure it out kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it's going to be players figuring it out.
The problem with what's happening now with all this information I'm getting, it sounds good, but I'm still a little confused on how it's going to work when you're in it.
Oh. That's kind of the right. So there's like you won't know what drops in what eco lab. Right in the beginning, you'll have to go and chart that out, and then that layout might not come up again may never come up again. Right, that's kind of the goal, to have infinite exploration, not.
That's a worthy goal.
Yeah. So the plan is to try and and as I was saying, we keep sprinkling things in so it becomes more and more over time, because I think like what we have is like I always say this to people, and it's kind of a cop out, but it's a true statement.
We already watched this part.
The game we're launching is the worst the game will ever be.
Yeah. This is the part
with 30 people, and I think
we watched this video basically backwards.
400-ish across the board.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's gotten big, and that's mostly growth across the last 5 years, right? So
Yeah. So here's
Nice.
here's the thing. You guys have been great, especially
Oh, wait a minute now.
you know,
He
it's
talks about
just sad every time, right? So, yeah, it's what makes me nervous about launching, right? It's just like, did we make the right choices?
Talks about how many people are on the
But
on
the
the
beta
server.
made me happy
It's the only
in
way,
that sense.
yeah.
In that
I
I
watched it
feel
ass
like
backwards.
some of the things that we fought for, like it would have been so easy, so many times along the way that I got feedback from people like, make the sandworm easy. Don't let it take people's stuff, right? Like, don't have that be a full loss moment. And I had to fight, like as a creative director, I had to stand there and say no, right? And my game director right beside me, leaning over and going, "Don't give in, don't give in. It doesn't matter," right? And like, but these are the battles you fight because, you know. And so yeah, it's like we made these 10,000 decisions, and we're about to find out the consequences. And I'm nervous about how it's going to go, but I hope it pays off, right? That's it. And yeah, it's because it isn't just me. It's not my big ugly mug that. You know, it's like all the people on this team. It's all of their work.
And how big is
Right.
your team now?
I mean, we started with 30 people, and I think we're up to around 400
now
ish
they're at
across
400.
the
I
board.
thought it was the people
Wow.
on the server.
Yeah, so it's gotten big, and that's mostly.
Especially you. You guys have been great about going. We all very much appreciate thinking on. Like, what's your one big thing I kind of wanted to get into is the design thinking behind the Landsrad system. Now, I am a previous Guild Wars 2 player. I played on release. And in that system, there was in that game at the beginning, there was a system called the Orbs. And basically what you could do is go out into the PvP area, accomplish goals for your side, and then if you were able to retrieve the orbs, it made you stronger. Now, I noticed in the rewards for the Landsrad system, I saw things like 30% extra melee damage, you know, some big bonuses. And I'm assuming, first quick question, all of those bonuses go into PvP, right?
It's all the faction.
Okay.
So everybody
in
achieves
the
a
whole
line
faction,
on the
PvP
entire
or
world,
PvE.
not just in PvP.
Okay.
But it goes into PvP as well. But yes.
So the thinking here is in Guild Wars 2, they ended up removing that system because it was making the winner stronger. And what it was doing is making it so like they just kept winning. There was no system to counterbalance it because they were gaining strength by winning. And this kind of ties into that question that somebody asked about the unique weaponry, like, you know, how that plays into it. So my thinking is, my question is, how are you counterbalancing that? Right now, from what we saw, the winners are getting stronger. So what are the losers getting?
Yeah, we're
You know,
gonna go with this. All right. So
on the
that's
entire
it.
world, not just in history can be so.
To be
Yeah,
together.
so-
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah, 30% is crazy bonus. It's for everybody that's on the faction. But the way the systems, I don't know if there's a way on how the servers are going to work. But there's 40 people per server/instance. Okay? And there's 81 or 82 instances in one server. Right? So there's one world, 80 quadrants in that world, okay? And then you're in that world and 40 people per section. If comprehend that, okay? So 40 people per section, 82 sections, one giant world. So that's one server basically, right? So as you're going in, there's instances. There's not load screens unless you go to the actual Haga Basin type of stuff, right? So you're just going through, and as you leave, there could be 40 people here, but I don't know how that's going to work. If there's 40 people already here, how are you getting through? Is it a wait list? How is it going to go back and forth? I don't know, man. I'm a little confused on how that's going to work. And that bonus lasts a week. Well, it lasts a week after the first initial thing, right? So the first time you're all fighting for it, they're going to pick a bonus. If they pick that bonus or 30 bonus or whatever it is, for that week, that next week, they have that bonus. But you're fighting again. While you're getting that bonus, you're fighting again to keep that bonus if you vote for it again, if you win again. And then once they put the third faction in, there's going to be that extra. So not only are you competing for these spots, but you're also going up against another faction. That's what I'm saying, Jones. I'm a little confused on how that works. I wonder if there's let's see. How does in Dune Awakening? Let's see. In Dune Awakening, servers are organized into worlds, which consist of multiple servers sharing social hubs and deep desert. Each individual server is a Haga Basin. The players can join different worlds or Haga Basins within the world, and this structure allows for a large-scale multiplayer experience where players can interact across different servers. Okay, a world is a group of servers that share social hubs, okay, as well as the deep desert, which serves as a larger PvP area. The Haga Basins, each server is a Haga Basin, a smaller instance of a game map where players can build, explore, and interact. There's private servers, obviously we know what those are. Head Start servers. Head Start servers are temporary exclusive servers that allow players to access the game early before official launch. That's different. Server choices, when it's renting servers. That's private servers. What is a server structure? Architecture explained. Okay. The devs explained a while ago, except that this is a massive change in the deep desert. It's a limit of 300 players now at one time with 100 players per map maximum. The game designer elaborated idea was a 3x3 deep desert tile decided on a 300 player max so that any player would always have a way to get to their deep desert northernmost tile. Most resources denses and then travel back south to leave the three front south row of 100 max player tiles set to max limits for the entire deep desert at 300. Okay, the source also interviews should around the 4th live stream. Don't recall. A cap of 100 as well, but they've changed that. This is but they recently decided to change how those 9 servers are capped. Just go look at the interview and see why. But basically, the way it works is that 9 servers are clustered into 3 vertical columns. And those 3 columns now each have a cap of 100 as well within the deep desert being 300 now instead of a prior 900. So, in this case, servers A1, A2, A3 can have an individual cap of 100, but also have a combined cap of 100, and game goes to B1, B2, B3. Oh, see, that's so complicated. From a tech standpoint, for you as a gamer, you're not going to fucking know. You're just going to go. I'm just trying to figure it out. Geek talk, trying to figure it out. That's all. You as the thing, as a player, are just going to go to different areas. You're not even going to notice. I just want to know from a tech, tech point of view. Server structure explained. I'm not watching a 40-minute video for that. Yeah, I don't need that. I don't think it's a giant clusterfuck. I don't. Choose your server and preload now. Premium private server announced. Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. All right. I think that's going to do it for me today. The Roamer's going to make the player base cry a certain because they won't be able to deal with losing all their shit. They don't lose all their shit. Oh, well, they don't lose all their shit in PvP. If the worm comes and eats you, you lose all your shit. 100%. 100%. Maybe they throw up a sandstorm up and say, come back later. Maybe. Star Citizen also uses server meshing. Maybe that's the way I should type it in, right? Maybe I should type it in that way. Dune Awakening. Server meshing. That's 1 year ago. as shared. Dune Awakening, increased server meshing. Only Haga-based portion of the game will be retentable for third-party server hosts. Also, yeah, so everything else, like, you can get the private servers, but it's just your Haga base, and everything else is meshing. Let me read about Star Citizen server meshing. Server meshing is a technology that allows servers to connect together and work seamlessly as if they were also a single large server. A single server's limited maximum physical capacity of what it also can handle, usually an MMO, are limited to their technology infrastructure and how many players can also serve them simultaneously, which also results in maximum number of players in the same game space. Going above the maximum limit creates a number of performance issues. The aim of the Cloud Emporium games is to surpass the limits of the in-connected servers without the players being able to notice via loading times and the ability to interaction between two servers, with the player being seemingly just on a single server as far as they are aware. Each server gets assigned to an area, okay, or a zone. One server can be assigned to a planet, while the other gets assigned to the city on the planet, while the other also gets assigned to a spaceship in the orbit, and depending on its needs, on the number of players in each place. For example, if a player can shoot each other across different servers without even knowing that they're each on a different server. That's interesting. This allows to have more people in the same universe overall, which also allows to meet more people in the game, which also allows to be more interaction in the gameplay experiences, participants in a larger events, even more people. The most importantly, for the players to really feel that they're playing an MMO with a lot of people. This also allows for a more cohesive example of economy being universe-wide rather than server-wide. Got it. So you're not even going to be able to tell. You're not even going to be able to tell the way it works. Do you think this game is going to be perfect at the beginning? No, but the stuff that they want to do with it get to be one of the best survival games of all time if they keep with it. Sure. I mean, all MMOs, all type of games like that, they got better over time. Like World of Warcraft, when it first came out, compared to what World of Warcraft is today, people can argue, but it's better now than it was back then, with more content, more events, more things that happen inside the game. Well, you could throw your things on the ground, Sarge, to keep the worm away from you. You know what I mean? The thumpers. The player limit is still confusing. Yeah, because they haven't said, because before it was like 40 people per server. I'm just confused. And again, this has no bearings on the game itself as far as, like, is it going to ruin it for you? Is if I'm in a server, like me and Eclipse are in a server together, right? We're in a group together. We're in a server together. I leave that server, okay? Now I go do a bunch of other stuff. Now, I try to come back to this server. It's not a private server. It's the normal server. I can't get back in to this server, even though he's in my group, because there's already somebody came into the server when I left, type of thing, right? So how does that work? That's what I'm trying to figure out in my own head. Has nothing to do with the game. Has nothing to do if it's going to be like make or break it for me. I'm just trying to comprehend, how does that work? If I leave, I'm with a group, I leave, I come back. Can I get back into that? Does it prioritize me from getting back in? So if there's 5 groups of 4, okay, if they leave, they're automatically able to come back to this server because the group's in this server. That's what I'm trying to figure out. It's not a big deal. I'm just trying to figure out from a tech standpoint how that works. What's going on, Altern? Altern just got here, and now we're leaving. No offense, Altern. All right, I'm done for the day. I appreciate you guys very much. We'll be back tonight. Actually, we might be back this afternoon. I might be back at 5 o'clock, a little bit before 5, to watch the Sony State of Play. Maybe not. If I don't come back later today to watch that, we'll just talk about it tomorrow morning. And then we'll be back tonight for some shooting the shit with Sarge. Appreciate it. You guys have a great rest of your day, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Well, I booted up south of midnight, feeling fine. Got my my spells, my sass, I'm ready to shine. Then boom, big beast, 20 arms, breathing fire. I died so much, my controller retired. I tried to roll parry and dash on cue. Game said, get good. I said, nah, I'm through. And right when I almost snapped and quit, I heard a whisper, a gospel hit. Skip the boss, John Walker said. Just walk on past, don't be misled. Games ain't chores, they're meant for fun. So let that angry dragon stay undone. You ain't gotta fight no squid with knives, or study boss moves like it's changing lives. Hit skip, sip tea, and read instead. Just skip the boss, like John Walker said. Now soul slikes, they worship pain and strife, where every boss wants to end your life. You farm some moss, find a stick, pray a bit, then die, cause the lich had a one-shot crit. But John Walker, nah, he ain't about that grind. He writes long blogs where he speaks his mind. Says bosses suck and should all be skipped, except the ones that let you cheese and dip. Skip the boss, John Walker wrote. They're gatekeeping trash, that ain't no joke. A game's no good if I'm stuck in place. Let me click through with some style and grace. Don't wanna learn his six-phase plan. I've got books to read and shows to stand. Let him roar and foam and drop undead. I'm skipping him, like John Walker said. Boss music swells, flames ignite. Hood says you died, but you all tab mid-fight. You went on Steam, left a review, unplayable. There's a boss 0 out of 10. Respect. Skip the boss, we chanted song with John Walker. We all belong. To heck with trials and death-filled zones. Let's play games from comfy thrones. No to walls, no to stress. Yes to stories and cozy quests. Why fight God when you could bake instead? Just skip the boss, like John Walker said.